And you know that you all I see. It's just me and you, I don't know where I be. Got me to a point I don't wanna leave.
Oh, yeah. If you ain't ready for the groove, I don't know what to tell you folks, but welcome back to the Late Shift, Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I've got two co-hosts in here with me tonight, and you will be able to jump in and be part of this as well. Welcome into the show, Bishop Frank and Mike, the Cool Cat legend. My man, what's up, guys?
We slow motion, Jason.
Little slow motion. That's what's up. Let's see. Yeah, man. Gonna talk about nobody's in here yet. Now y'all jump in. Tell us what's going on. Let's see. We got nobody. Oh, there's somebody watching, but they might be the haters. What's up there, Johnny Boy? The hater dude so far for sure. And then Johnny Boy, my guy. That's what's up. Kimberly K. Yep, she sees three faces. Drew, my man, Drew. Good to see you guys in here. Welcome to the show. Apparently there is a call now. Remember whenever I was telling you guys that more than likely you were going to see 16 teams and not 14? It will never see the light of day. The 14-team playoff, it would go to 16. That's what all the commissioners are favoring now, just as I told you. And I don't know exactly why, but it would. Just kind of reading what I'm seeing here. Basically, it amounts to them allowing 4 automatic bids for the Big Ten and the SEC, 2 automatic bids for the ACC and Big 12. You'll still get 1 for highest ranked FBS champion out the Power 4. So just your group of 5, group of 6, whatever. And then 3 at-large bids. I still think what I think about auto bidding it. I don't think you should do that. I think that more times than not, especially with a 16 team, you're probably going to get 5 from each of the big boys, right? Just the way that they set it up, it feels like they're going to put 5. But for whatever reason, that's where they're headed. Now, here's the big change that I think it's probably going to end up. What's up there, Crow? Good to see you. TP, what's up, man?
Hello.
The part that I'm not too sure about is that, so now they're talking about getting rid of conference championship games. And I know a lot of people are okay with that. I don't know if I love it or hate it, whatever. But what they're going to do is replace it with quote unquote playing games where you'd have the 3, 4, 5, and 6 teams in the big boy conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC, playing a game. Whoever wins that game, instead of on championship weekend, you would now have the 3 and the 6 playing and the 4 and the 5 playing. And whoever wins those 2 games gets into the playoff as the last seeds or whatever. The top, but the conference champion will be made via the whoever wins the game in the whoever finishes atop the league. I would tell you that I think that there's going to be years that will screw that up because if they call them conference champion whatever and they're tied with each other for whatever reason they can't break the tie. Yes. I feel like that's probably going to happen. But this is Fox and ESPN's big idea about how to make that work out. I don't know what I think about it really, but I guess, I mean,
Just
it's kind of an extension of the playoff when you think, I think, Bishop, no, what do you think? I thought you might have been muted. You are muted. You're not muted, but I can't hear you. Can you hear him, Mike?
no, I can't hear him, brother.
Well, what do you think about it? What's up, Satterfield?
Oh, Jason, like you, I've been through the BCS and then I've been through the CFP, and now we're getting all this. I wish they would find something and stick with it. I mean, the 16-team playoff. I mean,
Doesn't leave
then
any
you're going to
room.
have do what, brother?
Doesn't leave any room for movement up, unless you're going to go real big, which I'm not really in favor of going further than 16. Right?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Keep it at 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got you now, bro. Keep it at 16, I think, is the right way to go, but I don't know that they will. I mean, it's just like anything else. The more games they add, the more money they make, and it is about money, as Crow says. What's up there, Clint Moses? This is a Beaver guy, an Oregon State guy. What do you think about it? Kimberly K. Let's see. It's all about the monies for sure. Got Satterfield in here. Crow. What do you think, Bishop? Do you like the idea of having a play-in game though?
No, I'd rather them not go that route, to be honest. Because as is, I really thought they were going to get rid of the. I just wanted them to go straight 16 if you're going to do that, and just figure out who's going to be the home team or whatever.
Right.
But I don't. I got mixed emotions because the last time we did this something similar, we didn't get the right matchups.
No doubt. Well, I think that's their main reason for going to, whether they went to 14 or 16. And I'll tell you that I think most of the other two conferences in the Power Four, the Big 12 and the ACC, are probably talking to Tim Fitzgerald a little bit. I know that he's way pro 16 teams, just to make sure that you're allowing more of those teams that are finding their way into the talk about it. Now, I'm kind of with you. I didn't care to see SMU in the playoff. I didn't care to see Indiana in the playoff. Indiana, they didn't beat a team all year that was in a bowl game. They didn't beat a team all year in a bowl game. So, they just had a weak schedule. It worked out for them and they made the playoff. But both times that they played anybody worth the shit, they got smoked. So I kind of feel like, the Big Ten's probably a little top heavy in terms of that, but in the way that they kind of go about they're smart, that they are definitely kind of limiting the amount of exposure that their best teams have to each other, which is smart in order to get as many guys as you have in. Now here's the one thing I do, and I've kind of been revising my thinking a little bit about it. I don't love the four auto bids or anything like that. But if you go to 16 and they know that they're going to get at least their 4, the SEC and the Big Ten, it doesn't give them any reason to not play good out-of-conference games. Because you have Matt Rule that bitched out on the Tennessee series. You heard him saying that, well, why would I play Oklahoma? Well, because Oklahoma is Nebraska's biggest rival back in the day. So that's why you would play them. But they don't want to, because of the fact that he thinks it's going to mess with their ability to get in the playoff. Now, it won't affect your conference standings if you're already – it doesn't affect your conference standings, but it could affect your ability to get in if you play that as it is, right? But if you're guaranteed 4 spots and so you're one of those top 6 teams, you get a play-in game, you're going to have an opportunity. It doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? As long as you're in the top 6 in your conference, you're going to get a chance to get to that playoff, which theoretically would at least let us see some better games in out of conference matchups, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just Jason. I'm old school. I like the conference championship.
I do too. I do too. I'm not going to say that I don't have. I don't necessarily. I think if you're a top 4 team, it would still do the same thing. So even if you did conference championships, you don't have to do it that way. You know what I mean? You can
Right,
still
right.
have your conference championship and the other 2 teams are what they are, right? That would be okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they're, but and see, if you don't have the conference championship game and now you're getting a bye, how the hell long a break are they going to get? I think there's some logistics issues
See,
they
yeah,
need to worry about.
that's what I was
Yeah.
concerned about. Is this? Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think they worked out all of the kinks yet.
no, for sure. Kimberly
Mm.
K, shout out to you and very proud and very happy for you and your daughter on graduating OU. So
Yep.
Yes,
congratulations to her. Congratulations to you. Amazing mom that you are. We appreciate that. And
yeah,
good luck to her moving forward. She's got another one that won't be too far behind graduating. So
definitely.
congrats.
Yep.
Yeah,
Sharpshooter says y'all still up. The grind don't stop. That's for sure. Bro, the grind don't stop. If you're welcome to join us if you'd like to on this one. We're just talking a little bit of this and that for right now. Hey, tell me what you guys think about this Belichick shit with his
Oh
girlfriend.
my God, man, that's making internet headline news, ain't it?
There's a price to pay for that young booty, bro. I gotta say.
Yeah, there is.
A
I
price?
I
Oh,
just
Bill.
go ahead.
I was just going to make a joke. Old Bill probably needs to lay off that little blue pill for a while.
I tell you what, I think what it is for all those time in the NFL where he was very stoic. I think he's living life again,
Yeah.
and I think it's just showing a little bit too much.
Yep.
Well, apparently she's a holy terror to have around the football offices. And apparently there was some reports over the last couple of days that they may have banned her from all that stuff at UNC. And
Ooh.
but I don't know if
Ooh.
that's the case. Apparently she's at the Miss Maine contest right now. She's competing for Miss Maine. So I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Dude. Hey, what's up there, John? No, man, actually I slept most of the day today. I had a headache earlier this morning and then they were beating on the damn roof for they were doing roofing over here at the little apartments that I stay in. And
Oh
what a day.
Lord.
It was a long day. But Jordan with an O is
Yeah.
your hero at UNC. JT Thompson, thank you for the $5 super chat, my guy. Appreciate that. But no, as far
big
as
salute, JT.
we do the morning show on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I went on with Coach Ricks and them a little while ago. He's supposed to be in here too, but he ain't. It's a little late for him though. And then but I've only been up for like I don't know the last 6 hours, so I'm still good for some time. But
Yeah. I got the weekend off, so this is kind of a little holiday for me.
hey, and free legend is happening, man. We got
Yes,
coming back on Monday, huh?
Yep. Mike and Mike is back on Monday at 3 p.m. Central with the bishop and Jason. I think you've already accepted an invite to come on my show if you want to. It was a long stay in YouTube Gitmo. I was on commissary eating ramen noodles and
Damn. Damn. Yeah, no doubt. Ganja Crush
I'm
said,
locked
imagine
up
that.
and they won't let me out.
Bama Nation. Hey, John, you're moving to Tuscaloosa on the 24th. No shit. Good for you, man.
wow.
What's up with that? So, did you get a new job within broadcast stuff, or are you still doing what you were doing in San Antonio? That's badass. So I'm glad to hear it. Sounds like you probably
Yeah,
got into the broadcast stuff. Free Norm, he's here. He's here and free. Shit, he just ate part of a steak, chicken. Fuck off. Shit. That motherfucker, he's got it made. Everybody acts like he's so you know, got those credentials. Yeah, I got them. Hold up. I'll send it to you. Let's see. Is that what you're asking me? What credentials? Let's see.
Definitely a nice setup, man.
Yeah,
I
I
like
do.
what you got going on.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, Jason, man, he always had. I love your sets, man, in your shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you got your credentials for Bama football. Damn.
That's what's up.
Whoa,
That is
Big
what's up.
salute.
That's good shit, dude. Congratulations.
boy, howdy.
Hey man, I'll tell you what. John he's the man. And him and Brinsky have been
Yeah.
they've been doing that Friday show. Him, Brinsky, and Coach Sean. And
Yeah.
so they've been doing the Friday show. They're on the standard. Is it the Bama standard? Oh man, let me make sure I get it right here. I think it is the Bama standard, but I don't want to miss
Yeah,
it.
it is. It is, Jason.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's that's good stuff, man. And they've been they always put out good content, man. Those guys have been killing it for a while now. I appreciate that. Sharpshooter, what happened with Mike? Here, tell him explain it because I need to understand how this went down.
Okay, one morning I tapped onto my YouTube studio because it was about time for my payout, and it said that. Let me pull it up. I'll read it exactly. And let's see here. Basically, what it said was that some of my videos had been, I had used people's content, which I don't use people's content, never. So
Right,
they
I know that's bullshit.
suspended my channel. Locked. I couldn't even get out of it. I couldn't even get into my account. And then so I think it was Jason and Bishop and Coach that brought up the idea that maybe it was my intro that I had at my video where Coach Switzer was talking about Oklahoma invented
No,
it.
that wouldn't have
Well,
been it though. Uh-uh.
huh? But
That wouldn't have
anyway,
been it.
so they suspended my channel, and so I did the appeal like I supposed to, and I got a message today that said that my account's unlocked, but I got to apply for remonetization next month. So I don't know what that. And here's the thing about it is they didn't say what video or videos that I had supposedly used pre-published content.
That sounds fishy to me, like somebody
So
added that
I
for
don't
you.
know, but I'm back.
Hey, that's the main thing.
I mean, it's all good. Yeah,
I think that may have been a certain YouTube creator that shall remain nameless, but fuck
Yeah,
him. That you did a couple of shows with, right?
last year.
They're worse than Gitmo with Harris. Yeah. What's up there, Snake? El Hombre Negro, Nathan Campbell. We just added Ty Hayes, so we got a four. Oh, Ty's coming back on Fridays. Good. That's badass. I
awesome.
love hearing that.
Oh wow!
I love hearing
Yeah,
that.
I'm usually there with them.
I'm glad.
That's a good one, man.
Yeah, that thing, that guy, that dude. Glad you're back too, man. I'm glad you're back too. I think that it's a bunch of bullshit that they did that to begin with, but we know that that certain guy is petty to beyond the word petty. I got another word that starts with P that I would use. But
Yeah, he's banned from my channel.
yeah,
I got him in my banned list, even though he has burner accounts. But
he's burned a lot of people though. I mean, he
his
was
main
even
one is
he's burned a lot of people on some shit. They'll never tell you what video. You're lucky they even gave you a reason. Yeah, and here's the thing. Whenever I know I was going through a shadow ban of some kind, and they wouldn't even admit it.
Right.
You know, they were saying I wasn't, and I'm thinking, I think I am because first off, the numbers weren't even right. Hey, that's badass, bro. That's badass. Look at it. Brinsky Sharp 8 away from 8 hundo. My guy. Appreciate it.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah. And then people hate, don't let them bring you down. Keep up the grind, says John. No, I agree. I agree. For sure. But
not a
it's
problem,
gonna be
Sean.
what it is. It's gonna be what it is, you know. Some people, and you know why? A dude
I
like
mean,
that hates because he can't grow. He's been doing it. How long has he had that channel? I mean, I started this channel. It's been almost 3 years. I know he was going at least a couple of years before that, and he's still stuck in the 4,000s. You know, so he only gets to a certain spot, and then he's just kind of hovered. He's just kind of hovered there. So it is what it is. But he goes a long ways towards just trying to like troll everybody and do lies, tells a bunch of bullshit. I mean, it is what it
I
is.
don't like. Yeah, Jason. I mean, I know who has my back in the pot. You know, you, Bishop, Coach Ricks.
Yeah.
Yes, Nathan. My channel is back. Uh, Me and Mike and Bishop and Jason, and we're gonna have. I'm gonna have a. I want to have a a relaunch Monday if
That's good,
Jason
bro.
ain't busy around 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll pop on. We got our morning show with Big Mike too. We do Big Monday, and then I work, so I may have to pop on from work and just do a quick cameo, but I'll definitely pop on though.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that I appreciate it, Jason. You know,
No
I don't.
worries, no
You know,
worries.
I know you're a bit.
Well, I got this new gig that I'm doing in the daytime during the week, and I'm grateful
I'm
for
just
it.
like I said.
It's just a little different. I think we may have a delay.
And I'm grateful for Coach Ricks while my. Oh, okay.
You're good.
I'm just grateful for Coach Ricks to allow me on his show while mine was down. So, big shout out to Coach Ricks for allowing me to come on his show while my channel was down.
Yeah, Ganja, I think you know a little something about this. It's AI falsely flags your content. Then unless you have hundreds of thousands of subs, it's impossible to get a manual review. Yeah, so I was going back and forth with whoever their little chat bot was for like 2 weeks. And then supposedly I got a supervisor. It was probably a supervisor bot. They didn't do anything different. But the evidence is there. They didn't even, I mean, the analytics weren't even correct. I mean, you could look at the count, the views versus the impressions, and they were off by like, I mean, it was double it. It was my click-through rate was double what it said it was. And then so that means, and even at the lower click-through rate that they were showing there, it was still like over 6%. So, you know, if you have like anywhere from 9 to 10 to 12%, that's like rock star click-through rate. You know what I mean? And I was getting treated like it wasn't getting anything. They just weren't platforming this on time. So I don't know, man. It's just kind of a weird thing, the way it works.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, Musa says my content expands as Oklahoma integrates to the SEC channel. I have a higher profile. I think it will too. I think we've got plans to do some cool stuff, you know? Yeah. I mean, and man, we work with so many amazing creators like John and Sharpshooter and those guys. And all the guys we work with all the time, you know, Jay and Coop, and obviously having Boganowski and Dent on all the time. You know, we work with Coach Smook some. You know, all these guys are amazing creators. amazing creators, and they just, you know, it is what it is. But talk about Georgia on your channel if you want subs. Listen, we talk about everybody in the SEC. I really do want to get back into. We had started doing that SEC show start of last year or something. Yeah, it was the start of last year, but
Yeah.
and where it would be, we wanted to get a bunch of guys that are doing it from all over, and I may reincarnate that one coming up. If hey John, if you guys are interested in that, sharp, I'd be happy to have you guys come on that show too. But that would be cool. I definitely want to do a bunch because you have like the guys over there at the Woo Pig podcast, and then you've got, you know, our boy that does well, which one? What is his show now? Shit. He's done a few different ones, but it's we've got a couple of Arkansas guys, Zach and those guys too. And then, you know, I haven't really met too many creators from Tennessee. We could probably get a Mizzou person, but I don't really care to. But then, you know, we have some Texas guys that we could have come on. I mean, we know Shoddy and Coach I and them dudes from Georgia as well. You know, they could all, and they were doing some of it last year, but it just seems like we're not getting as much. Inside the Hog Pen is another one. Yeah, that's Zach, right? Go ahead.
And don't forget about Rooster from South Carolina.
Rooster's cool, man. I haven't talked to him in a while, actually. I don't know what's going on with him. I haven't seen his show up, really. He may be taking a short break, but yeah, hell. But Inside the Hog Pen, yeah, dude. Wow. There's just, I mean, bro, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
Coach Hayes. There's a whole bunch, man.
He said, "Dogs rule. Join us." Do you have a podcast, JT?
Yeah, JT. What's going on, bro?
Is the Dogs rule? I'm gonna have to go look it up. Is that what he was saying? All right, cool. Yeah, well, let's talk about it. I mean, I'll shoot you a message or something. I'll send you a text and we can talk about how you would want to do it and stuff. But I'd like it to be kind of a co-host type of deal. You know what I mean? That way, it just wouldn't be something that it's just one person doing it. But it'd be kind of cool.
Hey, Nathan, the name of my show is Sooner Legends Podcast.
The Sooner Legends. Appreciate it, JT. Dogs are going to be just fine in 2025. I want to make the rematch between UGA and Oklahoma, home and home. That'd be fun. No, you don't have a channel? Okay. I thought you were saying you might have one or something. Maybe I misread it, but we appreciate though. No, and if you watch, I don't know, do you watch Coach I and those guys on it's the Respect the Hedges show that they have on Tuesdays for sure, but it's Fanatic Sports Network. There's a lot of Georgia content there. That's where we met Shoddy and all them. I mean, they do a lot of good work too, man. A lot of good work. But hey, John, if you want to pop in, I'm gonna send you a link. We're talking about this supposed 16 team expansion.
Yeah, I just think they're really what I think they're trying to do. They're reaching right now. They're trying to use it as a filler. To me, is like they're trying to please a lot of folks to see if this will be the format that everybody get on board with.
Right. Well, I think it feels like they're doing it so that they can guarantee their spots like they want to, but I also think that there's some other stuff involved in it as well. But there's a couple of good things and bad things, really. You know, it's like I said, I feel like they're doing it so that they can guarantee however many they need to. But I'm not sure that I love the idea of killing the conference championships, but I do like the idea of playing your way into it. I don't think a conference championship, if you get to the conference championship, that's an automatic. That it's automatic that you should.
Yeah, that's. I'm a little iffy on the automatic. Yeah.
So it is what it is, but I mean, because I thought it's like I said, I didn't think SMU belonged in the tournament last year, in the playoff last year.
No.
Right. But if
I
you
was
move it
being
to a
messy last
system
year.
where it's 16 and you have, if you move it to a 16 team playoff though, and you have the play-in games, which what they're talking about with that would be rather than having a conference championship game, you have the third ranked team go up against the sixth ranked team in the SEC and Big Ten, and the same in the other one, and whoever wins that game gets in.
Right.
Those two teams get in. So
Right.
that would be kind of cool. You know, what would be even cooler would be if those teams played interconference games against the 3-6 or whatever. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Appreciate that, JT. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, they.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
like I said, I just wish they would find one format, stick with it, because I'm tired of changing.
No, you ain't wrong.
It's killing me.
I agree. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you've got just my deal with it is that I don't love it because you end up having just a bunch of teams in there that don't really belong, and so like I said,
Would I be
we
safe?
know that was the case when it came to we know that was the case when it came to like Indiana. Like I said, they didn't play a team they didn't beat a team all year that even made a bowl game.
I know.
So that's, I mean, if you're not going to even do that, I mean, I'm like, come on, bro. Come on. Let's see.
But the things that I see is I know what they're trying to do, but they still need to go back to the drawing board because there's a lot of bugs that's in there that just doesn't make sense just yet.
Mhm.
So
Well, yeah, I think that's
Would
good.
I be foolish to say that? Would I be foolish to say that it would open the doors for a lot of bottom feeder teams to get in there with a 16 team playoff?
Well,
greater chance.
nah, I don't think so. I think you're probably going to see more teams from the SEC. My feeling is you see more from the SEC because here's the thing. With them already, if they're guaranteeing 4 spots, right? They're going to guarantee 4 spots for these guys. Then that means that it's going to be 4 each for sure. But it doesn't say anything about limiting it to those 4. There's still going to be 3 at-large bids that could go to anyone. Now, chances are maybe one year you might have an extra team from the group of 5 or whatever that was right there on the edge of getting in that they think is better than the 5th place SEC or Big Ten team. I think it's going to be rare, right? I think it's going to be rare. But because I think that more times than not, that probably adds another Big Ten SEC school more times than it doesn't. I just do. I don't think that they're looking to give a leg up to anybody outside of those conferences. Now, here's the other thing. With all this stuff about this presidential deal, the presidential commission or whatever that Nick Saban may be involved with, I don't know how much of this is going to happen because I think a lot of it will depend on the courts and what they decide, or how much power does this commission really have? I don't know that they have any power. I don't think executive orders are going to really have a lot to do with governing the sport. I think when it comes to NIL and some of those things, Congress has to get involved in that a little bit, but mostly for antitrust exemption stuff, which we don't have to dig into all that shit. What I'm getting to at, I don't think that there's a lot that Donald Trump can do about it either. And I don't know that, and with they had Saban as the co-commissioner with the billionaire from Texas Tech. It doesn't feel like they want the same thing. So I don't know exactly where this is headed at all when it all boils down to that, right? I just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That just.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, this is over my head. I can't make heads or tails of it, but I just know that something collectively needs to happen,
What?
and that's about all I can
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
what say
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I heard you.
that. Go ahead,
No,
Bishop.
what I was gonna say is, if you really, if we really look at it, you guys, what it was is, like I was sharing with Jason, is that I knew what Saban was trying to do, but there's too many variables that they won't take into consideration. That in order for everything to work, i.e., you got to make sure Title IX is covered in it. You got to make sure it's just too many variables for it to be a clean cut decision. And so I just think that they can look at it, but I think they're going to come to the same senses that it's a lot that needs to be adjusted to actually do something worthwhile.
Yeah.
So
Maybe. This is a good question here. Do you see the Big 12 being the third power conference? Not as presently set up. No. Now, man, I think that there's so many changes coming to this sport. I mean, as much as we've seen changes to the sport over the last 10 years, I think the next 10 years will probably it'll be unrecognizable and compare. I think it's going to be unrecognizable in a couple of years, much less 10. I think at some point the ACC and the Big 12 are going to have to get on board with something of a in order to stay viable, they're going to have to get together on it. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be tough. What I was saying about the whole deal with Saban and what they're talking about, you could end up that would mess with the SEC and what Josh Pate was talking about was that messing with the ACC or the SEC and Big Ten being able to make so much more money and all this stuff. And I don't think that that's what they want. So I don't know that Saban is aligning himself with the SEC at all in this. Right. I just don't see it. Giving me points.
I just think more and more that Coach Saban is not knowing, but he's an agent to push. Where if they keep pushing, the Big Ten and the SEC is gonna go ahead and make that Super League, and that's one thing we don't want because we want to, we're trying to keep the integrity, but it just, like I said, there's too many irons in the fire, and every time they touch something, they only answer a few things and leave a couple of the things, and then next thing they know, a monkey wrench get thrown in it. And you know how they are when they got to do something, then they get butt hurt and throw something on out there that's unnecessary.
Yeah. Yep. Welcome into the show.
What's going on, fellas?
Man of Standard. Our guy. What's up, Jonathan Lewis? What's up, my guy?
Another day, man. It is. Look, Jason, I swear, you say it's only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday and stuff, bro. But I swear to God, it feels like I wake up to you drinking coffee, like, and I'm having lunch, and my Twitter goes, Jason Watkins just went live, and then I'm eating dinner, and all of a sudden I get another notification, Jason Watkins.
Hey, he's busy, man. The man is busy. I'm trying to make this a career for me too, man. That's all I want to do.
Dude, my transition to doing this full time was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Like, hands down, one of the hardest. Like, to fully go in on this is crazy.
Bro, I'm glad to hear it though, dude. So basically you got credentialed to be at all the games and are you gonna cover it writing, or is it just still gonna be as more of a
my place, Justin, obviously I want to thank them and everybody, Marvin, right at the Bama Standard, for bringing me in anyways on the back end. But no, so Marvin's working with me right now to get credentialed for everything. inside. But as far as everything else, interviews and all that stuff, it's already in the works and getting done, and it'll be done before I get there. But my biggest input, which I get to do full time, which is why I said screw it. I got lucky. The VA upped my disability rating from 70 to 100, which means, you know what I mean? I don't have to have a full-time job. So I said, screw it. And I talked to Justin. I'm like, dude, let me cover everything recruiting. And now I'm setting up all these events with recruits and stuff like that and getting all that in work. So I'm going to be traveling a lot right around Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and places like that, working with a lot of the recruits. So
Awesome.
That's badass,
Awesome.
dude. I love it. I love it. So doing a lot of recruiting work. That's good.
that's going to be the majority of my work's recruiting. Yeah.
I like it. Very cool, man. Very cool. Well, congrats, dude. And dude, I know that you're like the guy when it came to this streaming stuff. You've been doing this for a while, and so you understand it on
Love
other
you.
levels. But
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about doing some other stuff together before in the past. So I'm definitely working towards a couple of different things that I'm looking at, and I'm hoping it kind of comes together. But man, so that it's good to see that these kind of things happen to other creators because
Dude.
there's opportunities out there, right?
There's no doubt. So here, and a lot of people are like, when did you play? I'm like, look, I'm a fan. I never played college football, right? Like I never coached anything. The extent of what I did was getting on, and then I had to learn everything. So like recruiting, like I was watching YouTube videos on what to look for in wide receivers for recruiting. Literally 101 book. I bought so many books on recruiting, so
Right.
many books on coverages and stuff. So if I'm going to do this,
So you're a student of the game.
absolutely,
Yeah.
no doubt. And the moment you think you know everything is where you're in trouble. So like me, I love talking to coaches. I love talking to players. I love talking to anybody with anything to offer anything because we all can learn more and humble yourself real quick because I've met plenty of creators that seem to not do that. You know what I mean? Like that have been previous players and coaches and everything else. And it's like, I get it. You've done it, but do you love it? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing
Well, that's
about
what
it.
I've been a writer for a long time. I covered college sports for probably half of my 20 plus year career in journalism. So, I enjoyed it. And that was the thing. Whoever I was covering, I've enjoyed it. And I like it a lot covering it from the angle of OU, but
Yep.
but still I want to cover it on a kind of a national level. 'Cause
National
it's
perspective. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
man.
absolutely.
And I'm gonna always love the Sooners and we're gonna have a show about it or whatever, always. But I would say that I just love college football too. And that's the thing is with Coach Roybal, he was one of those things. I grew up in a town that, high school football was super important. In fact, I think we won our 32nd, 33rd state championship this past year. It's where Landry Jones went to school too in Artesia, but
Jesus, man.
it's wild that we were really about offense, and I was an offensive player and stuff. And you learn to read defenses and read what they were kind of coverages they were in, stuff like that. But then you only played one side of the ball, really. You were second, third, fourth down the road on the other side, but
Yeah.
you really didn't practice it much and definitely didn't learn the way that you would learn as a player on the offense. So when I met Coach Roybal, man, I learned so much about defensive coverages and some of that other stuff too. And I just love it. I've always seemed to have an eye for certain players, but sometimes you miss on certain things. But
Of course, yeah.
I feel like the recruiting needs more guys looking because I think that it's turned into one of these things where if you're not a camper or any of that other stuff, you're just not considered one of the better players. And I don't think that that's the case at all. I think that a lot of times those kids can't afford those camps.
I'm interested to see how my role at the Bama Center Network is going to play into the university because the university's already, they've already been talking to Justin and, make sure everything's done correctly. But you're talking about me going out. Like I just interviewed James Morrow yesterday, right? Now a 4-star defensive lineman out of Beaufort, Georgia, dude I've been following for a long time. Right. So along with a lot of these guys, and I got Caden Fife coming on. Right. So 4-star defensive lineman out of Chattanooga. You know what I mean? So like these big time guys. And I'm interested in see how the universities are going to react when they start seeing YouTubers now going out and we're interacting with these high school recruits. We're doing the interviews, right? We're
You
possibly
better react correctly and start realizing that YouTubers aren't going away.
no. This is the future of what I think. I'll be honest with you. If they leverage it correctly, it would be smart.
Yep.
Really, because they'd have more resources and more people to go to get information on these recruits. Because
right.
if I'm willing to go out and let's say watch James in Beaufort, Georgia, a couple of times a year and record the games, that's going to do nothing but benefit the teams, the universities, right? So, I mean, that's the way I personally look at it. But I don't know yet because we potentially have 2 recruits committing on our channel. And that's going to stir some things up with 24/7 on 3. You know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot that's going to be changing this season. And I think we're going to see a lot of reaction coming out of the Bama Standard Network this year for sure.
Well, that's awesome, man. I think it's great. And again, like I said, I'm with you. I think that because in a lot of these schools, I think Oklahoma is one of them included, that they generally look at quote podcasters or YouTubers as they don't know what the hell they're doing. But now those same guys that are these scummy podcasters, they're hooked up with all these guys that have played for you or played for your, for your school or whatever, and coaches and everybody else. I mean, they're not going away. They're not going away. And they bring a different side of the game to you. And more people are watching YouTube than ever.
Well, okay, so to mention that, this past football season was the very first season ever that more news was watched on YouTube than on cable TV or satellite.
Yep.
So
wow,
because people don't trust the regular news stations anymore.
Yep, I mean, they want to be able to relate. And when you have somebody that's just a talking figurehead, you can't relate. I'm a fan just talking about football. It's easy to relate to me because I'm not going to be sitting here breaking things down to craziness. I'm just here to tell you what I know. You know what I mean? Like, and what I've studied.
Well, and a lot of times you'll come at it from the fan angle too, that people identify with that.
Yeah.
Like what you were saying. I mean, you can come at it from a fuck Auburn angle that not everybody gets. You know what I mean? Yep. And just like we're going to say, fuck Texas.
Yep.
But that people do identify with that. And I think that when you start working together with people from Texas and from Auburn and stuff like that, to where you guys are both sitting there talking about the same stuff from different sides of it, people love shit like that.
Oh my gosh, man. Like these stories with some of these recruits, like even talking to James about the pool party in Miami, right? And these things the recruits get to do. Yeah, you realize how relatable. Like these guys aren't in some lab being constructed, even though they look that way at 17 years old, right? So, but you're like, man, I was 17 and I was doing the same stupid crap or what, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what I love about it when you're interviewing these guys. Is at first you just want to talk about football, and at the end of the day, 15 minutes in, you're talking about life. You're talking about how the struggle was with your mom and dad or whatever that may look like, and it's like,
right,
this is what people want to hear.
Yeah,
the person is, not the football player, the person.
I agree.
Right,
I agree.
Totally agree.
Let's kind of go to this.
Well, John,
go ahead, Legend.
Oh, I was going to say I haven't seen Jonathan in a long time, and then Jonathan, congratulations on everything, and really proud of you, buddy.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm glad you're coming back. By the way, man, I'm glad that number one, you're coming back. No, and number two, we're starting to see more people enter this space and work together. Right? This doesn't have to be a competitive. Don't get me wrong. Friendly competition is great.
Sure.
But it doesn't mean you're my competition, right? So it means let's work together, let's build this thing up together, because there's enough for everybody to go around. YouTube has an endless supply of money. Let's all benefit this, and viewers everywhere. Who cares?
I agree, and I think that the people. That's where I think that there's certain people that definitely don't get it, and they may never get it. But there's no reason why. I mean, look, I don't have to like your show or like you even to realize that when you do good, it helps me too. I think the rising tide raises every boat. So the more good college football content creators we get in the space, whether you like them or hate them, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
And the crazy thing is we'll use Sooner Legend podcast, right? You know how long it takes me to go over to his podcast and hit subscribe? 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what? If I don't have 15 minutes to watch his video, you know how hard it is to click on that video and hit like and leave a quick comment about the topic and then jump off and watch it later? Or riding home,
Exactly.
I just put it on. It's simple things like that that people don't understand.
Do it all the time.
Exactly. I may not even have to like your content or your topic, but it's blind support, right? We all need it.
No doubt. Well, and I think that for the most part, I mean, there's a couple of guys out there that I just don't like at all. But most people, I'm indifferent to most of them because I haven't seen a ton of them, or maybe I really like them and I still don't watch them very much. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's guys that are out there that are freaking I mean, off the top, the high top sports guys are fucking great. They do a great job. Killing it, right? And I mean, Florida guys, I don't always love their topics. Give a shit about Florida. You know what I mean? But their show is insane. It's insane good. And so, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you're right. And then, you have shows that are like, if they got more, you look at Sharpshooters podcast and Coach Sean at JMHO Sports. Coach Sean, dude, you're talking about some quality content.
Yep.
That is your place. You know what I mean? Like, how that dude is not blown up yet, I have no idea, right? So, and I tell everybody, it's just a matter of time. And staying humble, obviously, at the same time, takes you a long way. Well, this YouTube thing, there is no cheat code. There is nothing where you skip this process and you go automatically to 100,000 subscribers.
Right. No,
that doesn't exist.
You gotta have a lot of money behind you, and then even then, you already have to be well known to do that. If you can skip through, like, for somebody like us that nobody knows us until they get to know us from these. If you're not a former athlete, that you could put money behind it and everything, and all of a sudden they know who you are already, or maybe you're a legacy media guy. Okay, cool. You can grow faster, but nobody gets to where Uncle Lou is just like that, or it just doesn't happen. Right. So that tells you that he's been there for a long time. Number one, and he's been doing it and he's learned how to get to that certain point. Now, I think that there's certain things that guys like, especially like you, John, know how to get in front of the algorithm. This is what you're missing, or this or that. I mean, those are big things to know. Not everybody knows that either, but it's most of the stuff you kind of learn it as you're going along. And until you go through that learning curve, you're never going to grow. It's just hard to do it.
My process of getting to where I am now, even though I don't consider it far at all, you're talking 12 years, right, on YouTube. You're talking about 9 different channels, right? You're talking about selling 4 of those channels just because I needed money, right? Because times are hard, right? So, but here's the thing, though. If I would have skipped that process and just had money, I would be no good in front of a camera, because those first 5 years, I was absolutely horrible. You know what I mean? Like, my etiquette was crap. I still had my twang, right? My Alabama twang, where you could barely understand me. I had to learn how to slow down a little bit. It's just those little things. And then obviously having the time to learn the SEO, the back end, how the algorithm works, the tags, how the description boxes put, all that stuff takes so much time. And, you're not going to learn it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, months. This is years if you want to learn this stuff. And, growing on it. And I feel like I respect those people that take 10 to 15 years to grow. When you look at people like Josh Pate, right? So you look at even, I like his content, but RJ Young, he took a long time to build where he was at. You know what I mean?
Dude, for the people that, and I think Sooner fans especially, there's some that don't like him at all anymore because they felt like he kind of abandoned them or whatever once they grew. And I get that. But you gotta appreciate the hustle.
Exactly.
You got to appreciate the hustle. If you're a creator, you do appreciate the hustle.
Yep.
Because it takes a shit ton of it, man. A shit ton of it. So
absolutely. And I just wanted to say one more thing. They are 100% right, dude. Your backdrops and your setups are the nicest I think on YouTube. Like,
Oh, thanks, man.
like, they are like
Told you, Jason.
clean, man.
I'm working at it. I'm trying to get them right.
Working at
Well-
it, damn, bro. How much better you need to get?
Well, no, I mean this was the studio setup I had at the newspaper when I was still there, and but I've been working on it, bringing it home and all that kind of stuff because now I'm in the house. So, Golden Blue dude, that's a great example.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
guy that fucking worked his balls off to get to where he was. I didn't know him personally, but I felt like I knew him from his show. As I started doing this early on, I started watching him and I was like, he's the nerdiest dude. But I kept watching him. I was like, he's a nerd, but I love this guy. He's fucking awesome.
He has something most people don't have. He has a personality.
Yeah.
One thing,
Go ahead, Mike.
one thing that I built my channel on, and it really come to fruition when OU went into the SEC, is no OU podcaster had a historical channel about the history of OU. So that was my vision going into it, because I've been a fan since 1971. So I got a lot of history.
Which is a great niche. I told you that when you started, is that you should grow really fast, but you got to kind of stick to the niche and not branch it into other things if you're going to do that. Like, I think that with you might be better off to do and maybe I'm wrong about this, John, tell me if I'm wrong. Your live stream stuff, you might want to do on a different channel altogether.
So here's the thing about YouTube.
What up, Smoot?
You have 3 different audiences on YouTube. You have a live stream audience, you have a video audience, and then you have a shorts audience. Believe it or not, all 3 of those are pushed differently in the algorithm. That's those things you have to learn. I always tell people, if you're looking to get a lot of subscribers and a lot of views, do not do a lot of live streams. You know what I mean? Do a live stream 1 per week, but do a bunch of videos, right? To push your subscriber rate up. If you're looking for subscribers, that's your key. Unless you have enough time like Jason does or I do now, to where I can do a live stream 3-4 times a week, right? And then do videos on top of it. That's tough. That's real tough. Most people have almost no chance of doing that. So do 1 live stream per week and then do like 3 to 4 videos per week, where you find that balance, and then chop them up to get those shorts included in there. Then that's your well-rounded YouTube channel. But no, historical stuff. Number one, Center Legend here, Mike. You're going to want to concentrate more on videos. The reason why is because you're creating what's called evergreen content. Evergreen content is your long-lasting content, not your short-form content where it's like breaking news, right? Like recruiting is a lot of recruiting is done incorrectly, which is what I'm trying to bring to Justin's channel, by breaking the news, right? Versus let's evaluate at a player that's a 2027 recruit right now. That way, when it gets closer to his commits and he's tweeting out more and all this stuff, well, people are going to start searching more. And I've already got the videos made. So guess who they're going to see? Me. For the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see nothing but my face, where I've already created that content. So all of a sudden, the view. So like I tell Justin, like I tell everybody, like the views may not come in a lot at the beginning. It's over the course of time, right? So that's the way you got to think about it. So no doubt, I think when you're talking about historical content, that's more video based, in my opinion, and then do a live stream maybe once or every other week, something like that.
I'm now that I'm out of YouTube Gitmo, I'm going to bring back my Mike and Mike on Mondays, which I do a live stream with Michael Boganowski Sr. Jason has him on every morning on Mondays, and so I'm bringing that back, and Bishop Frank's on with us on Mondays. So that will probably be my 1 live stream for the week, and then the rest of the week I'll be doing my historical videos.
Yeah, that's really good.
Sounds like.
Go ahead, Mike.
But and like I said, John, the reason I brought this to fruition was because coming into the SEC, they're not being a historical OU channel out there. Let's like say you from Alabama or an Auburn fan, or they said, hey, what is the history of Oklahoma football? You can go right to my channel, and I got stuff back from the Ben Owen era on my channel. And Jason's seen it. I mean, I've got I've got a video on how Sooner Magic was born. I mean, just stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Hell yeah. And I love the history stuff. I love it on all college football teams. I love to hear. I'm telling you that you'll get more subscribers from other programs fans than you think.
Yep.
Because they want to hear about the history of. There's just college football fans out there, people that just love the history of it, right? It just kind of is. YouTube's one of the hardest games I've ever
I saw
played.
that, man. I was
There
like,
ain't no that you ain't lying, bro.
"Mm,
You ain't lying. It ain't easy.
bro,
Life as a YouTuber can be tough, but I mean, it is. But here's the thing. That's why I think I liked what you said the most a minute ago, John, is you have to love it because
100%.
it's a lot. There's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. You got to love this shit. And you got to, I mean, sometimes people get found quicker than others and you can move up fast. Yeah. But for the most part, you got to get through all of that part or you have to have already a shit ton of money that you can put behind it to where you have people that can help you with all the editing and everything else that goes with it, SEO, all that other shit. Not everybody does. So it kind of is what it is, man. It's just, yeah. But
hey, there's Stevie G.
What's up, Stephen G? What's up? Hey, yeah, I wanted to go ahead and get into that other stuff, though. We were talking a little bit before you got in here about this 16.
My bad.
16 team playoff. No. I'm glad we have that. I don't care where we go with these shows. You already know.
Yeah.
But this 16 team playoff stuff. Well, first, what is your thoughts about it? Because it seems like I've been saying for 6 months now that I didn't think they would go to 14. I thought it would go to 16. And it seems like they're all favoring that at this point.
Look, I'll be straight up honest with you. I wasn't a huge fan of the 12. And the reason why is because I do feel like there's a lot of, we can use last year, for example. There's a lot of diluted football when it comes down to it. It's hard, and this is just my personal opinion, right? So we can debate it. I never think I'm right. But in my opinion, there's never going to be a year where there's 12 teams that can win the national championship because there's going to be 12 teams entering that playoff. And it's like, well, no. You know what I mean? There's not 12 quality teams that I want to see play. And yeah, it's just hard, man. Like it's hard to move. And you're talking about moving to 16 now. Like, okay, so we're going to cut out conference championships. At this point, what's the point of them? They mean literally nothing. Where's the stopping point is my question. Instead of saying, let's go to 16, let's say, here's where we're not going to go because dear God, Division II just went to 32 teams, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. They went from 28 to 32. So they just increased it for revenue, right? So for commercial deals. Well, where's the line in the sand? And I know, of course, it's going to get approved. And we all know on this panel why it's going to get approved. Because we're paying players. NIL, right? There's a reason why ESPN just offered the SEC 30 to 80 million more dollars to include one more conference game. It's because they need the money and they know it, and ESPN is going to expose that. Now, you just gave the networks the leverage, in my opinion, on this NIL situation. And I don't think enough people are paying attention to that. Now these networks can do nothing but go to these organizations, these commissioners, and say, hey, we'll give you some money that we know you need for these players if you just do that. If you become puppeteers at this point. And I think that's where we're going to with the 16-team playoff. It's no different. It's just for money, right? We know that. And I'm real interested to see how this is going to play out, but I don't see it being a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's some trade-offs, right? I think there's always going to be trade-offs.
Yeah,
that's the thing. That it's like I said, because I'm still of the opinion, I don't know what's going on with the stuff with. I think a lot of this could be affected by whatever Trump and Saban and these guys are doing. I don't know, but in the end, I think as far as the NIL is concerned, they need to get this in order before they worried so much about the playoff system and all that stuff. I'd love to see them get it figured out to where they find and look, I don't feel like it's that hard to do. I think the only thing go into some kind of collective bargaining, which you can do, even if you make them 1099 employees. I don't care how you do it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You have to come with some kind of system that has where you can make rules and they can't immediately be challenged in court. If you don't have those exemptions, which without collective bargaining, you're never going to get those exemptions.
There's only one way to get to that point, and you remove that student title.
Yeah.
The only way.
Well, I don't know that you have to remove the student part. You have to make them an employee of some kind, though.
You're right.
You could be a student and a 1099 worker. I mean, people that work their way through school. I mean, it's not like that, but
your antitrust laws are going to start interfering. So, like,
antitrust is the hard part. Correct.
The antitrust is probably one of the hardest things to get past, because the problem you're going to have is if I have student and athlete and I'm getting paid to play, where does my loyalty lie? Does it lie with getting good grades? And all of a sudden I'm booted off the football team because they don't need me anymore, right? And then I'm going to go to a lawyer and go, well, I concentrate on school, right? So it had nothing to do with football. That's where your antitrust comes in, right? So that's where a lot of this legal stuff is really messy. So in my opinion, you do what the Europeans did with soccer, right? You just remove the student. I personally think that if they go to the university, they should have like two options. I'm going to be a student athlete, right? And then I can basically commit, we'll say, to play NFL after 3 years, or I can just go as an athlete, right? And then after 1 year, 2 years, I can try to go to the NFL. And if I don't make it, I come back, but I can only use it for my degree and I can't play anymore. There's got to be something
helped with part of that, because they don't allow you to be until after you've been out of high school for 3 years. So that's already a helpful part of it. But I get where you're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just it's stupid that football has it done differently than basketball, that has it done differently than baseball, that has it done differently than this. This is the whole problem. Why is there 15 different ways to do this?
Right.
That's just my opinion on it.
No, I definitely. And,
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Bishop. Go ahead.
No, Jonathan, just think about it. Then we got Title IX, and then each state has their own way of looking at. So the whole thing is, once they come together and do this research, they'll start realizing the whole thing is there's no continuity, because each state is driven a different way than the next state.
Saban's been saying too.
Absolutely. No, 100% correct. There's just no, like you said, there's no continuity. There's no standard of doing. There's no standard way of doing
Which
this.
I want to remind everybody, though, that is not the fault of the athletes.
No.
This is the NCAA and these conference presidents of these schools, the commissioners, the coaches are the ones that made the rules what they are. And yet we bitch and complain and talk crap about the players that are just going by the rules.
Right.
And I had a really, really good debate on actually College Football Chatter we did Friday night on, it was almost me against the panel essentially. And they're like, no 18-year-old should be given, $2 million, whatever. I completely disagree. If you earn it, whether you're 15 or you're 35, I believe if it's your worth, if they're using you to make this money and they owe you $2 million, I don't care how old you are, you earn that money. Because, I did my research. 78% of the NFL players that get out, guess what, have had financial stress, bankruptcy, right? So, period. Just because you're 18 doesn't mean you're going to be financially irresponsible. Just because you're 35 doesn't make you financially responsible.
Right.
Real for a minute. So, I get it. It's not a popular opinion with the NIL, right? So, and a lot of people don't want to pay him all types of money. But Johnny Manziel literally almost rebuilt all of Kyle Field by himself.
Right.
The money they made. You think that man is owed some money? Come on now.
Dude, I absolutely
spit your fire. Spit your fire, John.
The thing was that they made him into he kind of helped it though, but they made him into a villain. But the truth is, this guy was all that traveling that he was doing, it was to go to these damn shows and make money.
Absolutely.
It was memorabilia shows and all that stuff. But Jeff was talking about everybody complaining about NIL. I love it. It gives every team hope at the beginning of the year through use of the portal. Listen, I agree. I don't have a problem with the NIL. I have a problem with I kind of have a problem with the portal and how many times you can leave. But I'll say that again. I mean, we could go back to that. if they would sign NIL contracts with them, so that keeps them around longer than a year. People don't realize how many times coaches are asking these players to go get in the portal because they want to go fill that spot with somebody else.
Yep.
Facts.
So it's
Yep.
easy to act like it's one of those, it's one or the other. But players aren't going to tell you that the coach told them to get in the portal. Almost never. Because why? Because they'd rather look greedy than look like they suck.
Absolutely.
They'd rather look greedy than look like they suck. So they're looking for another way, another place to play. They're going to give it that shot. The school doesn't want to say that they asked them to go into the portal because then it makes the coach look shady.
Oh yeah, no,
That's with your culture, you know.
It's. I'm just look. We live in America. It's a capitalistic society. We know that there's capitalism here. If you're owed money, pay the money. You know what I mean? In my opinion, the easiest thing to do would just be, well, let's just make it just like the NFL. Have a CBA. Let these guys get together. Remove the student part. If they want to go to college, right? So there's plenty of people that I can point to, Bezos and all of them, that never went to college. They're billionaires, right? So just because I have a degree, that doesn't mean I'm not using my degree. I've used it one time. Just because you have a degree does not make you successful. And I get it. It does. You know what I mean? It does.
Well, having a degree is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it shouldn't be. Come on, man. How many professional athletes never get their degree, and they all went to college?
Now, we could have a different discussion if you say they're required to take financial literacy courses before they sign these NIL contracts.
Facts.
That's a different ball game we're talking about.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to head to.
But
yeah, that's a societal problem too, right there. It's you got to teach these kids that came from nothing how to learn to. I mean, they don't even, most of them don't know how to balance a damn checking account. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, I know a lot of people that are closer to our age that don't know the shit either. But the point is, I mean, you know, when you change somebody's life that way, and we're talking about, let's say, a quarterback that can go from Nico Iamaleava. Let's just talk about, I mean, for all the hate towards Nico and his dad for the way that they left and did all that, which I understand, but me and you talked about it that night when you came on the show before. It was Tennessee that did all that. Tennessee broke the rules to go get him because do you really think that they end up landing him if they hadn't broke the rules? No. They weren't getting these guys. They weren't getting them. So why would until they win and they were paying him as a high school kid, then they find, you know, they're blatantly breaking the rule that was you can't use NIL as an inducement to bring them to your school. Blatantly breaking that rule. And when the NCAA decides this, okay, well, now we're going to drop the hammer on you for cheating, what do? They sue the NCAA and say, no, we don't believe that's okay. Okay, fine. You just taught Nico how to do business in this game.
Yeah.
And now everybody's applauding them for you know, standing up to it. Fuck you. You started it. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. I don't want to hear that stuff.
Yeah. And to the comment, if you want to put it up there, Zopik said that just because America is a capitalistic society does not mean football needs to be an economic-based sport. I completely disagree with that. And the reason why I completely disagree with that, because I feel like if the market determines what I'm worth, that's what I should get, right? So if the market says I'm worth $1 million, I should probably get $1 million. Now, if the market says I'm only worth $10, I'm not going to argue with the $10. But the market determines your worth. That's the society we live in. If you want a really good example of it, you're watching it right now on a YouTube channel that gets paid through AdSense based on what? Marketing.
Yeah. Marketing, the views. How many people are marketing with you?
Yeah, marketing.
So, and that's what it's all about. These players being marketed. So
now I know what placates the situation is that you're having a larger pool come into this money, but do they have the financial know-it-all to be able to handle it? And that's where these schools are starting to learn that you got to explain to them or teach them something so that it doesn't become a detriment, but it can be something that it becomes their legacy or their inheritance. But you got to put in the work.
No, absolutely. Like, and that's the hardest part. That's why I think there was something I was reading where they're saying they're trying to push the 4 commissioners and all them, the Power 4 commissioners. They say we're pushing for an NIL, which is not going to get passed, by the way. I don't see it any way, shape, or form, to where they'll ration out your NIL collective, basically NIL collective through 3 years, but you don't get the majority of the money until your 3rd year at that school. So sounds pretty on paper. It's not going to get done because there's a reason why Title IX and antitrust and all this other is caught up in court right now, is because they'll do the same thing to that. It's going to be
keep on trying to pull that bullshit whenever you don't have to wait on your money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, look, I understand. Again, if they really wanted to slow down all this movement, they would. They would do an NIL deal that is for 2 or 3 years, and they would have to stick to it too, because if the players have to stick to this deal, so does the school. But they're the one. I guarantee you, there's coaches, they don't want it to be more than a year at a time so that they could dump money off of that book and bring in somebody else and pay him instead because they think he's better. This happens all the time. All the time, man.
Yeah, because the scholarship's only good for how many years?
A scholarship is good for a year at a time. That's the point. And you know what? RJ Young brought that up last week, and I was like, you know what? I hadn't really thought of that part of it for a while. But a scholarship is a 1-year thing. It always has been a 1-year thing. Now, you getting an academic scholarship or a athletic scholarship to go to a school, generally that means that you can go to school here until you graduate. You have X amount of time from the time that you either go to the league or you know, normal graduation, that 4 years. If you're playing, you have extra time on top of that, right? To graduate, that they're going to continue to support that. And that's great. I'm glad of that. The point is, but you can't have it both ways. You can't just say, okay, well, the players have to hold to these rules, but the coaches don't. And I saw this up here a second ago. Players should be allowed to leave as much as coaches can. Absolutely. Now, you can, as we say this though, if there's a contract, they should be bought out of that contract, just like coaches, right?
Ding, ding, ding. Right.
But I don't think that there's any contracts past 1 year at the moment. You know, I think we had a few, but how often are you going to get a player to sign a 3-4 year deal, which is what Nico had, and be okay with it as the money raises up the next couple of years? You know, I don't know. I could see where that happened. Again, I don't think that Nico and his family did everything correctly. They didn't. But I do think that there were some things that, what about coaches sticking to their deal? Absolutely. Hey, listen, you should have to stick to your deal too. But again, there's always got to be an out clause in every contract. There's got to be. There's just no two ways around it. You're going to have it. So sometimes you would be able to get out of it. I think that certain circumstances warrant you, just like before, you used to be able to, you could always transfer and play right away if the coach leaves. You can leave too. It doesn't hurt you. But then you started, you know, then the coaches started using that to poach players from where they left, a la Lincoln Riley, you know, and being able to do that kind of stuff. And again, I'm not even hating Lincoln for that. He's the one that brought Caleb in. I get it. But you're able to do that. Now that favors whoever's got the most money that wants to go hire this coach. In the end, you have to look at it. There's a lot of angles to look at it from. And I think a lot of times we get caught up as fans and looking at just the name on the front of the jersey and having all of our allegiance to that, and never thinking about, you know, that players, look, without the names on the back of the jersey, the name on the front don't mean shit.
That's right.
I think the toughest thing that I'm an Alabama fan, and I was raised as a kid watching, I didn't get a chance to see him, but watching Bear Bryant, you know what I mean? You know, Gene Stallings. You can go back as far as you want, and we love that history. We love the old way of doing things, but the reality, we're progressing. We're in a progressive moment here. I think possibly the most changes we've ever seen in college football, and it's either, you know, shit or get off the pot, man. You're gonna have to either move on and realize this is what it is and adjust, or you're gonna be left behind. That's
exactly.
Like,
and Jonathan, also what we're hitting as the proverbial forelance is that we're hitting explosive growth, and you can't take your the old platform into this new one.
Exactly.
You got to evolve. You have to progress, and you have to make sure you have your circle intact. So when the explosive growth hits, you're ready for it.
Nope, no doubt. So, to further your point here, it says in 2024, the NCAA generated $1.38 billion in revenue. And
Yeah.
we can't, so let's not bring this as not an economic thing, because
No.
that's crazy.
Absolutely. No, the money's there. And the thing is so what you're seeing, I think people are acting like this is so, that this is so hard to figure out. It's really not. But what's been hard it's hard for these schools to get their head around not taking all the money, and the conferences and everybody and even these television networks. There's so much money flowing through. And that 1.8 billion you're talking about, that's not taking into consideration what the network made on top of that.
No, they
don't do it for free.
That's just the NCAA.
Right.
That's just the NCAA. Like, you look at teams like Alabama, who's like probably 5th, 6th, or 7th on the list of highest revenues college football teams. They made like 150 million, and that was after everything. We're talking about revenue in pockets. I mean, you know what I mean? So I can only imagine Texas or A&M, like those schools. You're talking closer to $200 million, and it's, man, I don't know any other way around it other than you got to. NCAA has a big problem, and I think, well, I personally don't like the NCAA. I'm sure you already know that, Jason.
NCAA, yeah, I'm with you.
Multiple times, because they've released the Wolves at this point, man. They opened this box with the NIL, and they're not holding any responsibility to anything, and it's definitely bringing down the fans. It's bringing down us, right, YouTubers at times, because it gives us content to make things on. But my God, man, like, I just want to talk about football.
It's mind numbing half the time because there's all these lawsuits and bullshit and just trying to sift through what's real and what isn't.
Yeah.
You're 100%. And the thing about it is, dude, I didn't go to law school. When I'm reading half these reports, I am brain dead because I'm like, I don't know what half this even means. You know what I mean? So, like, that's ridiculous.
Hey, Coach Ricks, I'd put that in there. We've been going an hour and 20 minutes at this point. But I changed that link. So if you want to get in that link's in there.
Hey, Jonathan, I have a question for you. Did you watch the Crane podcast?
No.
Where they talked about the top 10 NIL schools of what they actually what's been found out.
No, I haven't watched that.
Check that out, bro. I was really surprised at
part of it, what you're talking about.
Say again?
Explain what you're talking about. What was the gist of it?
The gist of it is they went over, they started talking about Trump and Saban, and then they did the top 10 schools, the people with the top 10 NIL deals of how much they're able to bring to the table.
Oh, okay. I got you. No, I'll definitely check that out because
check that out because man, it was some schools on there that really shocked me that they made the top 10. And understand a lot of those teams, they were saying between 25 to $35 million in NIL alone.
That hurts my head.
Well, but for a blue blood, I mean, we're always used to and expecting to be able to compete. But this is why, I mean, you just heard what Richard Shear asked in there. Why does everybody hate on NIL? It gives us all a chance to win. Teams that would never have an opportunity in the past, they just wouldn't. I mean, I get it from their perspective.
I don't know, man, because like with there not being a cap, we do understand that there will be a separation at some point between these teams. Like
And Oregon wasn't number one.
Oregon
I
wasn't
will.
until
Nope.
that's kind of surprising, but I'm sure number one. It was a blue blood number one.
Ohio State.
Oh, absolutely.
Ohio State is what I would guess.
Yep. Ohio State.
Yeah, they overspent
$32.5 million
in order to get in order to get their championship. Well, what do you think that did? Why do you think you're hearing about $40.5 million from Texas this year?
Yeah.
Right. And guess what? I said this yesterday on the show. Oklahoma is ready to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Oklahoma's ready to do the same thing. I don't know how much exactly, but I'm just telling you, they're going to have to spend all $40.5 million to get the guys that they want at Texas. They'll have to spend it all. Because not just Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's going to be right in there on a lot of those players that they're in on. And they're not just going to lose them unless they pay all their money. So they're not going to be able to get everybody. You're only going to be able to get some. And what you just said, Jonathan, is exactly right. When this rev share starts is where the separation comes. Because the rev share is the $20.5 million to pay into, with the kids and all that, right? That you share that with your athletes. Well, that's well and good, except for that's a drop in the bucket for Texas, Texas A&M, Alabama, all the SEC schools even. That's a drop in the bucket for them. That is going to limit some of the Big 12 schools, though, and some of the ACC schools, say your NC States of the world and your Wake Forest of the world. They can pay the $20.5 million so that they can be in the playoff if they're good enough. What they can't do is pay another $20 million in NIL money.
I think what you're going to see is just a more advanced version of a farming system, to where the Wake Forest, the NC States, and all of them are nothing more than a holdover. So your freshmen, your 5-stars go to these schools, and then your Alabamas and your OUs, your Ohio State come in and go, here's you $10 million. Thank you very much for developing these guys. Now we'll take them, win a national championship, and send them to the NFL. Nice doing business.
Just like a JUCO deal.
Exactly.
And I think the JUCOs are still going to be viable as well, because you now, especially now that they're not necessarily counting their time there against their time in the NCAA.
And by them doing that, guess what else they're getting? It's given Alabama and these schools a chance to also come in as well when they go to the NC States, the Georgia Techs, or whatever that may look like. They get to reevaluate them. They get to keep evaluating them and figure out, do I want to spend the $3, $4, $5 million on this one individual? You know what I mean? Like I said, the freshman benefit, the players do, because they get to start as a freshman or a sophomore, right? They develop and then they go up. And I think that's essentially what we're going to see.
Yep.
I think so too. But like I said, you're not going to be able to cap NIL. That's never going to happen. No. You can cap what they make in rev share. You can do that. But what you're going to do, I'm telling you now, the reason that they're separating the two out, first of all, you have to. But this clearinghouse, I think that's what you were talking about earlier, the clearinghouse are saying that they can kind of limit what you're making on your NIL, and they can decide whether it's a legit NIL. The people that are wanting this, you communist assholes, stop it. Because there's no way that you should be able to tell somebody that you can't make X amount of money if you're visible enough that people want to use you for marketing, and they want to pay you for your face, your name, your image, and likeness. Because if you can limit that, then you're going to go right back to how it used to be, where Joe Blow, I think Coach Sean made this example on one of his shows, where he was like, there's some dentist down there, or some guy down there, and he's got my kid's face on a fucking billboard, and he's not even paying me for it.
Yep. Actually, that was it was on his show the other night. Yeah.
And so if you get to a point where they can only make so much money, well, then how do you decide, okay, he's only got to do X amount of little videos or whatever he has to do, but we can overuse all of that shit. And we only have to pay up to this point because we want to make sure we stay within the rules of fuck the NCAA. No way you let them do that.
Yeah.
You can't let them do it. So, and I think the first time that they decided that this isn't a legit deal would be the first time that it got taken to court and it's gone immediately. So again, unless you actually find a way to collectively bargain that, which no players association would ever agree to a cap of what they can make in endorsements and on it. So NIL, no players association would ever agree to that. And until you get that, that's how you're going to control the movement. That's the only way. And that's the only way you should be able to control the movement is by collective bargaining.
By Jimmy Satterfield, doesn't the NFL have a salary? Yes, they do. But you know what else those NFL players can do? The NIL is not capped. Because guess what? They go out and get endorsements.
That's right.
So there is a difference. That's why we're speaking on two different things here.
That's what we're saying. And I agree with you, Jimmy. Well, I get what you're saying. They have a salary cap. That's the revenue share would be what they can cap because that's coming from the programs, right?
Yep.
Each program gets, let's just for the sake of round numbers, they're going to be getting 100 million each program in the SEC within the next 3 years, right? 100 million. So out of that 100 million, 20 and a half of that it's already going to players. Now that's going to move up as well. That's the cap. That's what they can cap. But say Patrick Mahomes is making the biggest, he's got the biggest contract in NFL history. And that don't have shit to do with him doing State Farm or, you know, any other commercials that he does, that he's making buku millions off of that too.
Yep.
Michael Jordan didn't have to make, he didn't mind giving the Bulls a hometown discount until the last few years because he was making almost 100 million a year from Nike at that point.
Yeah, the shoes.
Right. He didn't have and McDonald's and Gatorade and everybody else. He was making so much that, I mean, he owns a team now. That's how much he made. So we're saying it's a different deal. You never will be able to cap that. Never. And you shouldn't be able to cap it either. And I don't know why we want to cap this for players. I understand that I wouldn't want to give X amount of money to a freshman that's never played a lick. I understand that sentiment. I get it. In the end, those freshmen that have never played a down of college football, they are worth the money that the market says they're worth because they always do come. I mean, not every one of them, but most of them come in and they're what continue. That's why the game continues to just explode year after year after year. And I think people forget that.
Yeah, we better hope that, like, really the NIL, these private companies keep pouring money into the NFL.
Thank you.
NIL, because, you know, if they, let's just say they stopped, you know how much ticket prices would go up in these games because the universities have to make up for it? You think they're expensive now?
Yeah.
Man, it would be ridiculous.
Hey, Jason, I'm going to have to blaze, man. I'm sitting here about to fall asleep, brother. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, man.
No worries.
Jonathan, good seeing you, my man.
You too.
And Bishop, y'all take care.
Thanks,
Jason, Jonathan, you as well. Anytime when you say I'm live, if you want to come on, Jonathan, you and Jason, more than welcome.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Hey,
Big
man,
salute, bro.
appreciate you coming in, man. I'm excited for you getting back too, brother. Excited for you getting back. Okay.
I appreciate it, Jason. And y'all have a great night. All righty.
All right now. But
legend. Podcast, my man.
But you know what, Jonathan? The truth of the matter is, it's not what they make; it's teaching them how to make their money work for them.
Yeah.
Too often, like if I was them without the teaching of my parents being owned businesses, I would have blew through that money, bought cars and whatnot. But they also taught me, okay, that's opportunity cost. And understand, as soon as you take that car off the lot, it depreciates.
Yep.
And it's like, what? And they broke it down. And it's like, oh, well, what do you guys do? And then they started saying, well, we buy land, we buy real estate, we do portfolios when we do trades and whatnot. And it started opening me up to help me understand Wait a minute. They don't teach that in high school and
Get your
college.
money working. Oh no, they don't want. If they do that, if they did that, they'd have less people to run the machines in their companies that make them
Right.
money, right?
It,
Right.
the only reason I even know what I know, two reasons. Number one, because I went in my master's program, right? So I got a BSc, a Bachelor's of Science in Business, which is basically your math side, right? So your accounting. I took accounting 1 and 2. But really what happened was is Robinhood turned up. And then I went to YouTube and I was like, how do I invest? How do I make money? How do I buy stocks? You know what I mean? I started doing all of that. Combine the two, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, now you know what I mean? I can maneuver this a little bit better, use my YouTube money or whatever that may look like. So, but, and to respond to one of your comments too. So, I can't say it's TBGR, talking about the oil companies are market driven. You know what I mean? That's what they tell when the prices spike up. It's driven by the market. Nothing can be done. Actually, something can be done about it. You can walk and not drive a car. See, that's the thing we're missing a lot of times is that we actually can determine the market. We just choose not to because of conveniences for the most
We
part.
consume it. We consume all that oil.
Exactly. So when you're
Facts.
using and you're depending on it, yes, you could be the stock market, like Bishop said, that's a determining factor right there. When you educate yourself on that type of stuff, or you walk instead of drive or ride a bicycle, if you can't possibly, you know what I mean? Not everybody's going to have a different circumstance of how they live, right? So family, all that stuff. So I'm not saying everybody can do it, but yes, there are things you can do where you're not being held down by the market, because that was me for the longest time.
Yeah, and I mean, and those prices are determined by OPEC, which is multiple countries that produce oil and gas, but it's all driven by, as he said, consumption. How much are people using? So here's the thing when it comes to, if you want to equate this to college football, the consumption goes up every year. No matter how much people talk about, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'm done with this shit. They're lying. They still watch it. They still watch it every year. They still watch every game. So, you know how we know? Because the numbers and the money keep going up.
Yep. And you know how many times last year specifically when Milrow would have a great one half and second half, I'm like, I can't watch this anymore. I'm gonna have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like my blood pressure is spiking. Everything. Georgia game.
Brother, hey, we had this shit all year last year watching the worst offense in Sooner history.
Oh my God.
And we still watched them all, but oh fuck, it was brutal. It was brutal.
For real though, Oklahoma almost made me tap out. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Listen, yeah, but it was the 2-6 season in the SEC. It was brutal, bro. Brutal. And so many of the games that we had an opportunity to win and they didn't. And so it was like, that sucked. But in the end, here's the thing. Like I said, if you want these things to really change, you have to understand if everybody didn't buy gas by the day, they would lose millions of dollars for just that one day.
Oh, it'd be more than millions.
Of course. No, of course. But again, that's the difference is you do have a choice, though. You have a choice to watch or not watch. You have a choice to drive or not drive. Yeah. Do you have to do it for your job in order to make that money? Yeah, but it's still a choice, Jimmy. Yeah. It's still a choice. And so what you have to do is you have to continue doing what you do. And look, it's just the idea that you're able, I think that people want to go back to the way it was. Well, it's never going to do that. You don't put toothpaste back in the tube. It just doesn't happen. So what do you have to do? You have to find a way for it to evolve and get as close as the way that you can get.
Yeah, there's a reason why
supply has a lot to do with that, but right. But you still have to supply it. They can supply. Well, why? Okay, the supply goes up. This is going to end up getting political, and this is not where we're going. But when certain people are in office, they don't drill as much. So that, the prices go up because the supply goes down, right?
Facts.
Then whenever, changes, whatever, whoever's in charge now decides we are going to drill more, then the supply bumps up. And so now you don't have to go by whatever it is that OPEC's telling you necessarily. You're going to go by how much do you have that you're not having to import. Because if you're importing oil, it costs more money.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're going to have to go by that. So, You can say that, but in the end, you still got to use it. So the demand is always going to be there. They can mess with the supply chain and all that. That's politics, though. That has nothing to do. And there's politics that goes on in college football. But the politics is telling you all that it's these fucking athletes' fault that it's the way it is when the athletes didn't make a single rule.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be hard for. It's hard for me to agree with Sooner in Texas because like your demand is key. Like if there's no demand, that
Yeah,
person.
hey, listen, who would give a shit if nobody was watching the game, John? You know what I mean?
I'm saying. There's no demand. If no eyeballs are watching football, there is
Right.
college football. So once again, we have a choice. It's just
Yeah.
it's we're talking about turning political here. You can even digress down to talking about obese people getting welfare so they can buy more unhealthy food because unhealthy food is cheaper than healthy food. You know what I
There
mean?
you go.
We're
There you go.
not doing all this.
And
But
then
no,
go
no.
ahead.
Check this out. Who's to say that as the billionaires age out, who's falling behind them to take their place? And where do we go in case somebody age out or they, for whatever reason, they're no longer with us, and their children don't want to take that up, and they go a totally different way that you weren't counting on.
This is just a curing a symptom of it, though, right here. So, okay, how about a 2-year commitment on all portal transfers? Okay, who's to say that? Why ain't they doing that already? Because if that was the fix, then they would do it. Except that they don't want to do that. Somebody in the power structure, which is not the athletes, somebody in the power structure saying, no, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because if they all wanted to do it, it'd be done.
There's probably so much that goes on behind these scenes that we have no idea. You know what I mean? Like there's so much to it.
There's not enough really good agents and things like that that are going to have the players' best interest and they're smart enough to know how to play the game. There's not enough of those, but there are some of them. There are some of these guys that they have real agencies and they're pushing for what they're pushing for. And make no mistake, the people that, the guy that was running his mouth, this attorney that's involved in the House settlement that's talking shit about Saban. You know what? There's plenty you could say about Nick Saban and why he doesn't want this and blah, 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 blah. And we could do all that all day. But I'll tell you this, it's a bad place to come from if you're the attorney that's making millions off of this House deal and you're fighting this legal fight. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear you talking about making money off the backs of these kids when you're doing the same shit right now.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just, it's really, no, you're talking economics. I get it. Look, I minored in economics for 2 semesters. But I get what you guys are saying. The point being is, and oh my God, it's not always more expensive to import oil, brother. Okay, whatever. The point is, there's different things you can do to fix it. But if they wanted to fix this, they would fix it. The things that they're telling you are the problems is not necessarily the problem. That's what John was just saying. The things that are going on behind closed doors, that's really the sticking point about them not doing this and not doing that. It's just, in my opinion, it's just like what I said about Tennessee. Tennessee started this shit. And then they didn't have a stomach for it anymore. And it's probably not because of they thought that Nico sucked, but because they know they didn't put enough guys around him to make it for them to go back to the playoff this year. They didn't. And so why are we going to pay this dude all this money and we're not going to win? That's, I think it was a bad way to go about it, but I do think that that's normal for Tennessee. Just got to be real with you. It's the way they do things there. It's like Cleveland. Brown's gonna brown.
Yeah, it's just like
Brown, you're gonna do it. Yeah. And what do you let's quit talking about this shit. Let's talk about some of these games. What are you looking at? Let's talk about, I did the rankings this past week, my rankings for post spring. caught a lot of hell for it from Texas fans. Made me happy.
No, couldn't imagine that.
But I understand why some of these big networks are there on Texas and they should be number one. I mean, my argument was simple. They weren't winning the Natty with a bunch of dudes that had experience. Why do I believe that year one with Arch Manning and a bunch of other new guys, do I think they're number one? I don't. I don't think they're number one. I think Notre Dame is the clear number one. They have the most coming back as far as experience and talent along the lines, and they got the best defense. They also have a quarterback that can spin it. Whichever guy they go with, they'll be better throwing the football. I don't think they have to throw it a lot because they have the best running back tandem in the country as well. But none of that mattered to anybody. Why is Texas at number 11? I had Bama at like 4. I think that Bama is loaded and ready to rock and roll, even though I don't know that they have the right quarterback if they continue with, I don't know. I think Ryan Grubb is going to make a big difference on that program is what I was getting at. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like you on Texas. I don't have a rankings per se out yet, but no, you're spot on with if they couldn't do it last year, they got beat twice by the same team, right? So it's always hard to beat the same team twice. Well, Georgia did that, right? So, Coach Sean, he had a great argument last night about Texas fans beating their chest. Why are you beating your chest? Did you win the SEC? No. Did you win a title? No. So what did you win? So why are you beating your chest? We don't beat our chest in the SEC for being second place or third place. That's not how we do things. So let's get that right off the rip, right? So if you don't win at all, let's not talk about it and just not bring it up. That's number one. Number two, Arch Manning, he could be great. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. He could be. We don't know. We haven't seen. We need to see this guy in live action, clutch moments, big games. We don't know what he's going to be. Now, everything tells you he should be great. When you look at the lineage of Arch Manning down to Peyton Manning, down to Eli Manning, yeah, it's all looks great, right? So it doesn't mean he's going to be great. It just looks that way. I want to go with what's been proven so far, in my opinion. Alabama brings back a lot to your second point. Yes, I agree. We don't know what Ty Simpson is going to look like, right? Once again, it's the same situation. He was a 5-star. You know what I mean? Like coming out of Tennessee. Granted, it was a 2A school.
But you have a lot of experience on the line. You have a lot of experience on your defense, which got better and better as the year went along last year, right?
No, absolutely, and I agree. Now, what I put us fourth? Are we talking about fourth in the SEC or fourth in the nation? What are we talking about here?
I was ranking the nation, but I have them ranked fourth in the nation.
All right. Yeah. So me personally, I'd probably have them around 6, 7, or 8. Right. So just going off the top of my head, I'd have to obviously do my research.
I think that's negligible, right? Anything from because I think that there's probably more teams this year right now that could win the Natty than I can remember ever.
Yeah,
going into the season.
And look, here's my rule of thumb, by the way. Number one, how many times have we seen a preseason number one ever win a national championship? It's rare, right? It's rarefied air when we talk about that. So really what it all means is nothing. It gives us talking points. It gives us views on YouTube and the networks and everything else. It's all great, right? When it comes down to it. But what I put Texas, no, because I'm putting last year's national champion as number one this year. I don't care what the turnover looks like. They won last season, right? If you're the champion, just like in wrestling, you got to beat them to get the belt, right? So until they lose the belt, that's that's the number one team in my opinion. So put Ohio State.
I think that's where I don't know that I agree with that 100%, but I get where you're headed.
I make it as simplistic for me as possible because we can always talk about potential, and I mean, really, if you want to look at things, we can argue that LSU could be near the top. Right? They have one of the best quarterbacks, and Nussmeier coming back, throwing for over 4,000 yards, almost 35 touchdowns, everything else. Receivers stacked, transfer portal looked good, recruiting top 5. The whole works was great but it's Brian Kelly, who I can't stand, and I'll never even put them probably in the top 25. I mean, I would, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. But either way, there's just so much to consider when you're talking about these rankings. But to me, when it comes down to it, number one, to make it simplistic, till you get beat, that's who's number one the next season. And we know
Well,
Oklahoma.
and I mean, that's kind of where I was with Notre Dame is they played all the way to the end of the game with Ohio State. They got everybody but the quarterback coming back, and I think that may be better for them.
Notre
that they
Dame.
went to another quarterback, Notre Dame. Yeah,
Yeah, and I like Marcus Freeman. You know what I mean?
I
But
like Marcus a lot. Yeah,
the one thing Ohio State has that a lot of teams don't have, and that Alabama did have, but don't anymore, is that consistency in coaching, right? So they have the same coaching staff outside of Knowles, right? So it's
on the back end. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they still have. I said this because they were like, well, they lost a bunch of guys at Ohio State too. They did, but they didn't lose them all as starters necessarily. They lost a bunch of guys that they got to come back last year to make one more run at it. But they still have arguably the best player in the country on defense and the best player in the country on offense.
dude, Emeka Ibuka should be like a top 15 draft pick. But because Jeremiah Smith was opposite side of that dude, his stock fell in the draft because he never saw the ball,
Wild to me, dude. Wild
which
to
is
me.
crazy. Because if you go watch his film, he is wildly talented. He would
Dude, he's
any other
gonna be
year, top 15.
that was
Facts.
the best value pickup anybody could have gotten, period. I mean, because what, he went to the third, didn't he?
Emeka Ibuka, no, he went to he went in the first round. He went like 20.
Oh, no, but just way down. No, that's right. That's right. But it was in the 20s, though, when
Yeah,
he should have been a top 10
they had
probably pick.
projected it like, I think like 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
And then Jeremiah Smith decided, I'm going to literally just take over everything.
But
Like,
if you notice, though, like that Texas game, Jeremiah Smith didn't do much because they had so much attention on Jeremiah.
yeah, they put the brackets on him.
Ibuka was just wide ass open all day. So you pick your poison with a team like that. But yeah, I agree. But I don't know who their other receivers are. I know they've got who's that other guy that I really liked? I was just lost his name, but they got other good receivers. I mean, they still have the same. Now the receiver coach is now he's their OC. They're running the same stuff. I think that Chip Kelly is probably a tougher loss for him than necessarily was Jim Knowles, because the rest of those, like you said, you're going to have continuity in what you're running. And when you have, Caleb Downs dude, it's like having another quarterback on that defense that's out there, and he's just that good. He's just that good. He was that good as a freshman.
Yeah. At Bama, we were devastated when he left, in my opinion. I know a lot of people talk about, no. Like, Caleb Downs is one of those dudes.
Yeah, he is one of those dudes. And that's what I'm saying. And in any event, it's not like any of this shit's scientific. It's all based on our opinions on what we see, right? Now, and Texas can bitch and complain about it. They bet Texas fans, not one of them actually gave me a reason why I was wrong. The only thing they say is, well, Ohio State had just as few, and you got them at 5th. Okay, cool. All right, what else you got?
I don't want to hear nothing out of Texas, because Texas had the absolute easiest schedule in the SEC, it felt like, last season.
And they got away with it against Arizona State, and they got away with it against Clemson. I mean, if I'm Oregon, I'm fucking hot right now. Number 1 team in the country all year long, undefeated, and our second game is up against Ohio State.
Yeah, that is wild.
While Penn State plays SMU and then Boise.
Yeah,
I would have lost my shit over that.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, Will Howard was a great game manager. I'll leave it at that.
And listen, Will Howard didn't have to do much crazy. You know what I mean? He just didn't. He did make, and I give him props. He made some throws. He made some plays at the opportune times for him to do so. Good for him and the way he finished his career. Because I got to tell you, I didn't think much of him headed over there.
Yeah, Jacob Coker 2.0 with us handing the ball off to Derrick Henry. Okay, let me show you the playbook. There's one play. Hand the ball off to Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. And that's the thing, is that when you've got a guy like Smith to throw to, I mean, he's going to make you look better. Now, it didn't really help him in the draft either.
No,
and even like Quinn Ewers, I mean, Quinn, I don't know what you think about his career. I think it was pretty good in view of the fact that Texas sucked, leading up to that.
Quinn Ewers, to me, had to be one of the most hyped players coming out of high school to collect a $2 million NIL deal to Ohio State, to go there, to knowingly transfer over to Texas so he can collect more money.
Mm-hmm.
And then just for him to go as late as he did, which, look, I'm going to say it, like, it's not the worst spot for him. Tua never stays healthy. So if he manages to get the backup spot, we may have to hear Quinn Ewers sooner than later. Will he be any good? I don't know, because
I think it's Sark said it. Their offense is as close to what Sark does as anything in the league.
I can imagine. I mean, yeah. I don't know, man.
And I mean, you could have worse guys than he has as receivers over there too. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, look, but and I think that Quinn's pretty good. I think that he's a little mentally fragile is his thing. Right?
Yeah. No, I said the
but
same.
I think his talent is okay. You know what I mean? I think his talent is fine. I think his arm is better than most people act like it is. He makes throws. I mean, I remember the throw he made against Alabama 2 years ago. That unbelievable throw down the field. Unbelievable. I didn't expect him to make it. I didn't expect Sark to give it to him to make. And normally they wouldn't have. But that was huge. Big time throw. Big time throw.
He has talent. There's no doubt about it. And look, where you go in the draft does not matter. We already know that.
It matters. It depends on, well.
I'm talking about if he's good enough, he will rise to the top.
Sure.
If it's really there, he will be there.
It depends on where you go, though. Sometimes they don't put you in the right position to succeed in the draft. You could end up with the wrong type of guy. Quarterbacks, especially, I'm talking about. I look at Landry Jones. It's just an example. Landry Jones had way enough arm to be a really good. Yeah, he went to Pittsburgh, and at a time that Ben Roethlisberger was just entering his prime.
Well, no. Look, yeah, that's different. I'm talking about his situation where he's going into a situation where Tua is injury prone.
I agree with you on that. I agree. Well, what I'm saying is it's not always that way.
Yeah, it's not always. No. Yeah,
the window was small in the NFL to make it. So I think that overall, the team that drafted Quinn gave him an opportunity that he may not have gotten in the 7th round any other time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cost him anything hardly to find out. Whereas a guy like Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, he falls out of the 1st round, 2nd round, 3rd round. He goes to the 5th. And where he would have had time to get ready now, you got to perform yesterday, or else it's not worth him keeping you around. I think with a guy like Landry, that it's cool and all for the NFL that they don't really pay you that much coming in, right?
Yeah.
That you're slotted by where your draft position is. That costs Shedeur a ton of money. But when you look at Landry, that worked out but he sat on the bench, and the only times that he got opportunities, that always seemed like it was them going against the Patriots or something like that. He was going to look bad.
Yeah.
He was going to look bad. But once you've been there for that whole 5 years where they've gotten their rookie deal out of you, now you're a veteran. The veteran minimums, it makes it tough with a quarterback. A veteran minimum for a quarterback's like $5 million a year. They're not going to do that shit. Your career is basically going to be over with, because more times than not, they're not going to keep you around like they did Chase Daniels.
Yeah, Chase Daniels, Ryan Fitzpatrick, like the Ryan Fitzpatrick was QB2U, right? So that man,
Geno Smith is still around. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's wild to me.
What's your guys' thoughts on Shuck?
He's trash.
And Derek Carr just retired.
Man, I'll be honest with you. That
he did?
Yes, yeah. No, he retired today.
Yeah.
So
appreciate it, TP. See you later, bro. That's wild. So Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler are vying for the quarterback job.
Yes, sir.
They're fucked. They are fucked in New Orleans. Oh,
dude, there was not much hope. They had potential in the worst drafts I've ever seen, period. So I don't know who
They
is
passed over,
What they were thinking.
bro. They passed over Shador for sure.
Multiple times, yeah.
Yeah, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times.
Yeah, dude, what the fuck?
Like, that's one of those LeBron moments. Not 1, not 2, not 3. Like, everybody was doing that. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
we're running out of people here. Yeah, no worries, guys. We're not going to stay on a whole lot longer, but no, I agree. So who's your preseason? So your preseason number one, you said would it be Ohio State because they won it?
yes.
Okay.
Ryan Day didn't leave. He's still there. I'm not a huge Ryan Day fan, but I
I'm not
gotta
either.
give the man.
I think
I'll give him the respect. He's not in the SEC, so I'll respect him a little bit. He won a natty. He stayed there long enough to do it and kept the program consistent enough to do it. So
we'll see how good he is now that Chip left.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's easy to win when you have great assistants around you. You know what I mean? It's always what does it look like when the turnover from the assistants happens? Like Dabo Sweeney when he lost, Elliott, lost Venables, lost the D-line coach for you guys, Bates. So you know what I mean? Like he lost everybody, and
that hurt him in the recruiting on the D line too, for sure, because he was able those guys, right? I mean, Todd Bates was. So that's he's been worth his weight in gold at Oklahoma without a doubt. Yeah. How many? And I would ask you how many teams though? If you were to look at let me throw up my poll there real quick just to.
If you have a visual,
yeah,
Yeah, he does. Tell him, Jonathan. He's got his stuff together, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I need you to move it over. Oh, okay. You're just making it smaller.
I'm just trying to make it smaller a little bit so everybody can see it.
Can you move us to the side and let it be the main?
Or you can put it over my face. It probably.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, put it right here. I'll snore real quick.
The question I was asking you was, how do you feel about overall? What do you think is going to happen this year in the? I mean, I've been saying that I think anywhere from like 10 to 11, 12 teams could theoretically win the national championship.
Look, I know you guys are OU. Well, I know you're an OU fan, right? I'm on an OU podcast right now. I personally would have Oklahoma a little higher. I went on a podcast and said I think Mateer is going to possibly be the best quarterback in the SEC this year. Mm-hmm. Of course, pissed off every Texas fan humanly possible on the podcast.
Oh, but look at you played in the Mountain West. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Cam Ward played it in Incarnate Word. So right down the street from me. So let's get past that real quick.
Facts.
That's just what it is. I don't like Notre Dame at 1 for sure.
Yeah.
So you must think, and look, we can debate this all day, but of course, us 3 for sure would never argue or take it personal, which is why I like getting on here and talking football.
Yeah.
Penn State. So you must think James Franklin's going to pull through this year.
You know what? The more I think about that, I've been beaten up about Penn State. I think it was an accident leaving them there, but
because that means Drew Aller must be like the number 1 draft pick in
the argument I would make for Penn State is that they added some receivers that they've never had there.
Yeah, they did.
And so, and they did it through the portal. So if they're good enough at receiver, I like Andy Kotelnicki a lot. I like him a lot as a coordinator. I don't think that Drew Aller's been so bad. I think that the guys that have been in charge of that offense have not been good.
I agree with you. I'm not a huge fan of Drew Aller, like top 5 in the draft. Like a lot of mocks have him top 5, which I was
his measurables though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I go by as a fan is what I see when I watch him play. You know what I mean? So I like how you can maneuver all your stuff. By the way, this stuff is really neat.
It's cool.
So
if I could wake his ass up, that would be cool. Bishop, you sleep?
No, he's not asleep.
I told you to put it over my face. I'll take a nap.
All right. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, and I think defensively they're still really good. They've got a good running game coming back. I'd probably have them in the top 5 for sure. I'm not stuck on them at 2. But I know a lot of people, you even said you'd probably have Bama at closer to 7 or 8. I think with Ryan Grove coming back and having the receivers that you have, Jeremy Bernard, not just Ryan, Jeremy Bernard, really good. I know they're recruiting the right guys to come in.
Oh, yeah.
The running back situation, now that they have, I think Keelan gives you a running element, right? And I'll say, I've been telling you this. I think that there's no way that Bama goes the whole year and doesn't play Keelan Russell very much. I think at some point
He'll be packaged for sure. Now look, I'm not saying you look at this poll and whatever, but like me, I hope Alabama is number 1, right? Like, and they win the national championship, of course. But going back
more on their line and their defense, the way they've played, and the guys that they've brought back to that. I think the addition of Grubb, the changes that'll happen on that offense.
Yeah. I'm just trying to
push them further ahead. I feel like they're almost positively a playoff team.
Yeah, I feel like we're a playoff team. I feel comfortable in that sense. I'm just trying to be patient. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? And I would probably push Oklahoma closer to like 9 or 10 or 11. And I personally think that LSU's almost whole season will write off game number 1, which is, I believe they play Clemson number 1 in the first game this season, which is, in my opinion, Brian Kelly, I believe he's lost the first game 2 or 3 years in a row. So if he loses to Clemson, who knows where LSU winds up, because they play definitely a couple good teams. Obviously, they could slip back into that 12, 13, 14 range again, right? So obviously they won 10 games last season. I believe it's 2 seasons in a row. Brian Kelly's had them winning 10 games. You're brave putting Florida at 9 only because of not knowing DJ Lagway's shoulder health, and it's his throwing shoulder. If we knew his health of his shoulder, I'd feel more comfortable. If it's for sure healthy, I'd feel more comfortable with that. Man,
Wow.
I'm going through your list here. So Texas at 11 is brave. I'm not gonna lie, you
ain't lying.
hell. So on that one, let's see here. I don't like. Let's see here. Miami.
What about Georgia?
Georgia at 8. I love Georgia outside of Gunnar Stockton.
Right.
Gunnar Stockton is the one thing that it doesn't make me sit well, because I've seen him look really good and I've seen him look really bad in the limited time we've seen him play. And now I'll be honest with you, I've never been a big fan of Gunnar Stockton. And there's a lot. Look, when I go on a Georgia podcast and Georgia podcasters are saying they're not a fan of him, it makes me lose a lot of faith. You know what I mean? So I think Gunnar just has to do enough to not lose the games, maybe, and rely on that defense a little bit more. Now, they lost a lot when you look at the defensive side of the ball. Of course, we know Georgia reloads every single year. That's not going to be a problem for them. Texas A&M with Marcel Reed is interesting when you look at what's Elko over there. Like, Marcel Reed, such a dynamic player, right? So can do great things.
What about Kansas State?
I'll be honest with you, I haven't done much research so far on Kansas State.
Yeah.
What I would position them at 13 ahead of Oklahoma, probably not ahead of South Carolina. South Carolina, losing Rocket Sanders was big, but Lenora Sellers is still there. And if he has a year like he did last year, South Carolina's going to be pretty damn good.
And they still fighting with that one running back that hasn't been released by the NCAA, right?
Yeah, they are. They got some issues going on. Auburn in the top 25, that's not going to work for me. We already know that. They need to be around 130th. So no, I don't know what to think about Auburn, man. I think Jackson Arnold needed to get away from Oklahoma because I feel like he's a little he was fractured a little bit mentally.
Right.
And sometimes a player, and I'm looking at it from a player perspective, not necessarily from Oklahoma's perspective, you just need a fresh start somewhere, right? So, and I feel like maybe that's what he needed. Gets to Auburn with Hugh Freeze in that offense. Unfortunately, Hugh Freeze is not going to be healthy all the way, right? He's battling cancer. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
that's got to
Yeah.
be rough on its own.
Yeah.
Through. So
Yeah.
I think not a lot of people are taking that into consideration. But yeah, Deuce Knight. I think if I'm Jackson Arnold, I'd be worried about Deuce Knight because that dude looks like he can play some football,
Oh,
and he is no joke. So
what we're hearing behind the scenes is that Deuce is, hey, they're neck and neck.
I 100% believe it. And Mississippi State, I'm not saying they're going to be in the top 25. Not saying that. But Camario Williams, I believe is his name, the dude that came in, the
Uh-huh.
freshman. That dude, I don't know how long Blake Shapen's going to have his job because that dude is a flat out just. You ever watch somebody and go, that's a football player? Like
Right.
Tim Tebow was a football player, right?
Football player, yeah.
Lamar Jackson, dude's just a damn football player.
Yeah.
That to me was what Mario Hamilton is. He's
Gotcha.
that type of dude. I like Louisville at 23rd. I like Jeff. Me personally, I'm kind of a fan of Jeff Brom. He's kind of
Yeah.
keeping the program moving in the right direction. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Arizona. I don't know about Arizona State. So they lost. That's where McMillan came from, right? The wide receiver.
Oh no, Arizona.
Oh, that was
He
Arizona. Okay, I couldn't
yeah,
remember. Where he
yeah.
came from. So I don't know. I don't know much about Arizona State as far as where to put them in these rankings. Iowa State, I feel like is pretty good. I think Illinois could be this year's Indiana.
I was just gonna say, I was about to ask you about that because I feel like I think they bring 85% of their
Yeah,
players back.
yeah, they bring a lot back to the table, and
Yeah,
they weren't a bad team. So, like, yeah, I feel like Illinois can move up in this ranking as well.
yeah. See, I put them like us, OU. A lot of stuff happened last year, but what they bring back with the experience and whatnot, it's like a dark horse.
Yeah, yeah, there's no doubt. But yeah, other than that, Oregon is another one that's going to be. I mean, we don't know what to expect out of them.
Yeah. Do you think Dante's ready?
Uh, I mean, I hope he is for his sake. He doesn't have an easy schedule this year, so like,
That's that's
Oregon,
why I asked the question.
yeah, Oregon, Dante better, yeah. We're gonna find out real quick. Actually, with Oregon, I can't remember what the beginning of their schedule looks like, but I know they play a couple of tough games. Um,
You know.
I like Dante coming out, and that's
Oh
another
yeah.
thing is that 2023 recruiting class. My God, everybody it seems like transferred except one player. I think it was 2023, outside of Arch Manning. So
Right.
I think Dante was in that one. Correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, chat. So yeah, let's see here. And I don't know enough about BYU, but look, BYU every year BYU's just clinging. It's right there.
I don't know what it is. They know how to keep a nucleus.
Yeah,
That much I do know.
it's kind of like Utah with Kyle Whittingham, and congrats to Cam Rising, who did not receive
Finally.
his 57th year of eligibility, going to be, I believe, the offensive coordinator for his high school football team that he played for.
That's
Uh,
cool.
so
But
yeah,
yeah, he finally retired.
man, that dude. How do you retire out of college? That's wild to me. I've never seen that before. I'm officially retiring. What do you mean you're retiring? You're in college.
Because he was trying to go for another year.
Yeah, that he could have got his PhD. Like by the time I didn't realize there was that many years you were eligible for. But either way, talking about Cam Rising, I don't know if you're here.
Yeah.
Not.
I just think Cam Rising, yeah, hey, it's time that he retired and going off in the hills.
Yeah, it feels like he's been at Utah. I swear, man, like that man has seen every transition in football. I'm almost positive he was in what was it? What was the last NCAA 14? Was it 14?
Yeah.
He was probably in NCAA 14. He's 25. Oh man, that's
Man.
but yeah. Oh, you get your mute on? Look at him. Oh, okay, he's telling us to wait. Look at him. Jason doesn't have his stuff together.
Yeah, but hey, congrats for real, man. I've been seeing you. I've been dropping over there at the
Yeah,
Bama Standard.
I
So hey,
appreciate it.
big salute, bro.
Still having sound issues.
Yeah,
But yeah, no. See, I don't think AOU fan. There is a reason for conversation for Big. Yeah, Big 12 is Big 12 is it's gone by the wayside.
hasn't it? Yep.
Well, which we
And
ought
they
to.
talked all this. Oh, the Big 12 do just fine without OU in Texas. Mm-hmm.
No, you can't lose the lifeblood of the conference because that's what it was. So my dog is from Stillwater, Oklahoma.
He back. Should be good now.
Yeah, you go.
I don't know what just happened, but I had to I was scrambling to try to get back here.
I tell you what it was is you got 66,000 hours on that microphone. You probably got to go buy a new one.
It's hot,
Yeah.
baby. It's hot. The heat's going off.
Well, you guys, I'm
Gotta
letting
go?
you go.
All right, man.
Yeah,
I'm about to let you, man. We've been going for a while, but
but hey, Jonathan, really, man, hey,
we'll see you Monday morning.
yeah, I just think that I
Oh,
keep
he's
trying
already
to tell
froze up and
Jason
gone.
he
He's like,
got.
I'll see y'all. Deuces. Are you still there, John?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's still.
This is probably me again.
Yeah, it was you. It was you.
Oh.
But no.
Would you got that cheap internet? Is that what you got?
Oh, dude, this shit costs way
Oh man.
Hey, bro. Hey, but
Sorry,
hey,
man.
chat. Hey, we appreciate you coming through. Hit the like, share the content, and subscribe. Definitely subscribe. You feel me?
Please become a subscriber so I can get better internet.
Oh my God. Get some of that
And
early.
go subscribe to our partner Jonathan Lewis.
Absolutely.
Man, for real, he's doing big things, and you know what? Hey, he's part of the family. So let's go support and let's go move some major stuff. So
I
with
appreciate
that,
it.
Heck yeah, man.
salute, man.
Appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate you coming in too, Bishop, and
Yeah,
making sure to tell everybody about all that. We appreciate that a lot, man.
yeah, definitely.
Holding it down while I was trying to figure it out.
Look, hey,
It happened.
Jonathan. Look, all of a sudden I saw him go. I was like, oh, let me wake up.
Yeah, no, that's why I went through the whole board almost.
Yeah, he did.
Did you already go through the whole thing?
Yeah, I went through
Oh,
like
we did.
hours
No,
and
it ain't
hours.
no try.
Sweet. That's cool. That's all good. Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on, brother.
No,
Yeah.
of course. Anytime. Let me know if I have a chance to get on. You know what I mean? I'll do it.
Heck yeah. I still hope for the invite there on the Friday show. I know you guys are busy and you're adding new dudes, all you Ties coming back. I'm excited for that one.
I'm excited for
Yeah.
Ty.
I'm glad to see
I
Ty.
really did miss Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be me, Coach Sean Brinsky, and Ty for the normal Friday show. But I'm going to be adding in another show as well. And we're going to probably have to split up because of me doing the full-time recruiting thing. But yeah,
Right.
no. I want one where I bring on guests and stuff like that. That's my thing is I reach out. You know me, man. I like networking with YouTubers and other
Yes.
people. So I don't like to be restricted in that part, which I'm not, but you can
I
only
know
have
what
so
you're
many
saying.
people on. Oh man. But no, for sure. When we get an opening, we got Caden Fife possibly coming on next Friday. So one of the recruits out of Chattanooga.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we got some stuff lined up, and obviously when you guys are available, when we get dates aligned, I'll reach out to you guys and see if you guys want to come on or whatever.
Okay.
Sure, man. What we'll do is like I was saying earlier on Coach Rick's show. I want to do some position breakdowns and stuff.
Yeah, that's
For the SEC,
see.
kind of ranking each position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I definitely like to have some of you guys pop on and do some of that with it
yeah,
because,
because I'm a
like I
former
said, I know some
defensive
guys that know
coordinator,
a lot.
so I definitely would look forward to doing a WRE. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be getting a hold of all you guys, man. SEC Mo, some of them other dudes too, man. I want to hear about some of these other teams, so we'll definitely start doing a lot of that. But yeah, all right, Bishop. Well, thanks, man, for taking care of that. And I got about 10 more minutes. I'm gonna go, and then I'm good.
Oh, you good. You good. Hey, I ain't got no shame. Deuces,
Later, man.
horns down.
Always.
Those receipts are still due.
Yeah, they're gonna be due. They're gonna be due. They better hope to hell. I'll just say this: when it comes to Texas, y'all motherfuckers better hope we don't beat that ass this year, because if we do, all the shit y'all been talking is gonna get. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be
Oh
bad.
man,
I can't wait though. I'm, dude. Are you as like ready for this damn thing to like start as I am?
the moment the national championship ends, I'm immediately like, can we just go ahead and start the season? Like, yeah. No, I've been, but I'll be honest with you, this is one of the best off seasons I've had. I've got my affairs in order, and now I'm ready to get moving.
Brother, I'm excited for you,
throttle.
dude. The new deal that you're doing. I know that with you and Bama Standard, I knew it seemed like you were starting to pick up steam there.
Yeah, it started off on the back end, and then Justin and Marvin asked me to come to the front end, and then I started working with more and more and more with them, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's just move in this direction." So yeah, it's was slowly turned over into something, but yeah, it's working out. Obviously, I appreciate the invite to come on here, talk.
Bro, anytime you want to, man. You already know. I'll enjoy having you on.
People in the comment section, obviously, appreciate y'all coming in here, leaving comments and all that good stuff, and look, make sure to hit the like button.
Make sure you do it, and get over there and check out all these. The Bama Standard is a lot of things. They do a ton of stuff. It's not just based on only Alabama. If you're an SEC fan of any school, you should be watching the Bama Standard because it's really good. A number of different personalities, a lot of it's Bama content, but you should want to know about the teams you're playing. So, I mean, I know it's a lot of fun to watch a lot of the content that's on that channel. And of course, any of the stuff that you're doing. If Ty's coming on and you got Coach Sean and B Sharp, man, I'm watching it. So
yeah, no, of course. Yeah, we'll have to get some bring you on, talk some OU recruiting and all that good stuff, obviously. So
I'm down for that.
But
down for that.
All right. Well, I appreciate the invite. Like I said, appreciate everybody getting on here, leaving the comments, all that good stuff. Make sure to hit like, share, subscribe button if you guys haven't already, obviously, to the show now. Other than that, I got to play my button real quick, right? So before I leave, you ready? Oh, did it play it?
Roll damn tide.
There we go.
Roll damn tide. I always do this one. These days.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
One of my favorite OU creators.
All right, man. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good one. His affairs in order. And he's not getting ready to die. He had to he's had personal stuff that he had to take care of, though. And as far as the job was concerned that he had, for him to be able to go full time at it, that means a lot. That means a lot for him because he's been juggling YouTube and life for a while now. And that's not usually something that he does. Norman, get off me, dog. Know thy enemy. Know thy enemy. Yes, listen, yeah, whatever you want to call it. And Jen, you ain't necessarily wrong. That's true. Yeah. I got new used tires on your truck today. You ready for the season? Hot damn. Yeah, I like it, JT. I like it. Now, let's see. Georgia's on the mind of all Bammers. Yeah. That's week 4, right? Isn't that week 4 for you guys? I'm ready for that game. I love college football, man. I watch the shit. I don't care how small it is, even, what conference it is. If it's on, I'll watch it. I will watch it. Yeah, it's week 5, but it's game 4. So September 27th. Right on. And this is the back half of your schedule too at Alabama. The Alabama's back half of their schedule. Georgia's schedule, Marshall, Austin Peay, Tennessee. Caught a break there going to Knoxville in a year. So did Oklahoma this year. I think we can catch a break on that one. Then Bama game, then Kentucky, Auburn, Ole Miss, Florida, Mississippi. Oof. Yeah, I mean, it's not as tough a schedule as Georgia had last year, but it feels like it's a winning schedule. It's a winning schedule. And it's going to depend on your quarterback, man. Is your trigger man going to get it done? I don't know. I appreciate though everybody coming in as always. We've been going for a good while. It's already even getting late here, so I know you guys. It's late for everybody, but hey, is going to get me one of them hats. Listen, make sure you do that. Hey, you know what? I'll go out on this. Oh, I knew this was coming. I'm gonna leave on this little commercial that I have though here, and well, maybe just a second. Maybe not. Damn it. Let me pull it up and then we'll go for. Oh, there it is. Yeah. All right. No, actually, you should check out the other one too. I hadn't even pulled it out of the plastic yet, but look at that bad boy. Bro. Hall of Fame. It's hofmedia.us/fanatics. hofmedia.us/fanatics. You get the best deal you can get on there if you use our link. Partner links are always better than just a normal link you find anywhere. You'll always get the best deal that you can possibly get that day. So make sure you jump on and check us out there. It'll definitely help you out on your end. I'll just tell you what the commercial is about to say too. I'm just gonna play it. I appreciate everybody coming in. Check this out on the way out, and we'll see you on the next one. Myself, Mike the Legend, and Bishop, and possibly Coach Ricks. Take your calls tonight. Wrong again. Shit. Oh. All right, it'll go in a second. Anyway, hofmedia.us/fanatics. hofmedia.us/fanatics. We'll see you on the next one. Everybody, Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame College Football. And I just wanted to show everybody my new gear that I just got from, where else? The Fanatics Partner Store. Fanatics is our longest tenure partner as far as that helps us out with the show. Basically, though, I'll just be honest with you. The best thing about it is, you know me, I love to wear my hats, T-shirts, all that kind of stuff. I've got tons of them back there. We have them on our store as well. But this one with Fanatics, and you know me, I'm going to get new hats no matter where I can get them. Now, what I'll tell you is I get great deals. The reason that I do it is because we get great deals. It's honestly not because of any kind of money that we make for the show. I just end up using whatever it is to get more gear. Check this out. Newest Sooners rope cap. You know, love that one. And then wait till you see this other one. Bro, tell me that's not fire. Fire. Throwback stuff. I love it. Look, in the end, we're going to do our best to give you the best deals possible. It does help us if we had the entire fan base of, you know, and everybody who watches our show buying something every month from Fanatics, we might make a little bit of cash off of it. At the moment, we don't make anything. In fact, I think I'm the only one that even uses the discount. That's weird to me. You should check it out. Whether you're a K-State fan, Texas fan, SEC fan of any fan base, you get the best deal you can possibly get on the website by using our partner link. It's hofmedia.us/fanatics. Again, HOF, see up there, HOF, media.us/fanatics. There's no reason why you shouldn't be taking advantage of the deals that you can get. Again, it's not a huge get for us, but it's a big thing for us to be able to pass on to you. We love being able to do it. It's our way of thanking you for being such loyal watchers of the show. Anyway, check it out. Again, man, tell me this isn't hot. I've been thinking I'll probably save them for the season. Knowing me, I get such good deals. Why would you? Right? I'll be wearing this one probably on the next show. Make sure you check it out. hofmedia.us/funaddicts.